Hi, everyone. If you're new to podcasting or interested in starting a new podcast, let me tell you a little bit about Anchor. If you haven't heard about Anchor by Spotify, it's the easiest way to make a podcast with everything you need all in one place. Anchor has tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or your computer. And when hosting on Anchor, you can distribute your podcast on listening platforms like Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many more. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. And best of all, Anchor is totally free. So for the brand new podcaster, that is a plus. So check it out. Download the Anchor app or go to anchor.fm, that's F as in Frank, M as in Mary, to get started. Well, hello everyone. Welcome to In the Dark. And for my return listeners, welcome back to In the Dark. It is wonderful having you guys back. Love my beautiful, fantastic, wonderful listeners. Just got back in from being outside. I was out there doing my grounding, which for those who don't know, it's you connect your body to the earth, and it's supposed to be very healing, getting that magnetic pull. So I try to do that once a day for about a half an hour and hope that it does something. I can say that it seems like, weirdly enough, it seems like it's helping my reactions to my allergies. Could be my mind, but who knows? It might be doing something. It is a beautiful night. We have, it's almost twilight, and we're supposed to have a storm coming in, and it's my favorite time of the day, especially with this weather. I love the clouds, and I love the wind. If it's not too windy, I don't like damaging or dangerous winds, but I love it when it's windy and cloudy. I'm not a very big sun lover. I don't like how hot and bright it is, and I kind of find that funny because of what I do with this whole spooky, type of stories and things like that. It's kind of comical, but I'm just not a big sun worshiper. Tonight, I have an amazing guest. His name is Nick Valente, and he is the director of Region 3 of the North American Dogman Project. Nick also started and co-runs the International Dogman Project with one other person. He runs it. We cover so many topics. We go from dogmen, Bigfoot, aliens, reptilians, Mothman, Jersey Devil, missing persons phenomena, even throw in some politics in there, and there's more. Thunderbirds. We talk about so many things. So I hope you really enjoy it. I'm going to get right to it tonight for you. I hope you guys enjoy the show. And let's go. Nick.
Hey, Tracy, I'm here.
Hi. Your voice is pretty muffled. Let me hear you a little bit. Talk to me.
I'm muffled.
You just cleared up. You're good to go.
So where are you guys out of? Pennsylvania?
Yeah, I'm in Pennsylvania.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Where are you located?
New Jersey. I was excited to do the show because I had brought a team up to just above the Poconos about 2 months ago, where we had 4 dogman either sightings or encounters. And, I spoke to the people and I decided, well, we better bring a team up there and check this out, especially since it's so close to home. It was great.
So the Poconos, I've wondered about the Poconos so many times because of how wooded it is there.
Well, we didn't go to the vacation areas. We went just when you go over the line from the Poconos to the upper area, and that's where we went. And I brought a team of 7. We brought 2. We towed on trailers 2 6-wheeler gators, because at the time there was snow on the ground still up there. I mean, good old Pennsylvania. They always have snow when you don't want it. And it was sloppy and nasty, but I had 2 couples contact me and 2 individuals contact me. And I mean, they were within 5 days of each other, and I spoke to them on the telephone. And I also spoke to them. One of them sent me on Facebook Messenger a detailed account of what happened and who they are and what they do and what the whole deal was about. And this was a dogman sighting, definitely in Pennsylvania. Now, I have to tell you, going back about 5 months ago, Jody Cook, who's the founder of the North American Dogman Project, he and I were on the telephone, and he mentioned to me, he goes, I was, well, after I said to him, I said, I'm getting about 15 calls a week now. That's either somebody sending me a message or, plain and simple, calling me up. I don't know how they got my number. I guess they looked me up here. I'm pretty easy to find. And I told him, I says, 15 or more a week of sightings in the Northeast section of the United States.
You're kidding.
And that's my region. My region is Region 3 for the North American Dogman Project. And, people won't call.
Now you're the leader of. Explain exactly what your role is. I just wanted you to kind of tell everybody what your title is and what the organization is. And
all right, well, the organization is the North American Dogman Project, and I am the director of Region 3. We have 5 regions in the United States, and Region 3 covers the northeastern section of the United States. However, I do have members from all over the United States and all over the world. I have something like 5,500 members in my NADP Region 3 group alone. Also started the International Dogman Project, and that's based out of Finland. I have a member over there. She and I run the International Dogman Project. So if anybody looks that up, it's the International Dogman Project, Nordic countries. She just wanted to let them know where she was based out of, so that's why we put that addition in there. I also help run a lot of different state chapters, like West Virginia, Missouri, Wisconsin, Maine, New Hampshire, just to name a few. I help them run that. They're state chapters. See, I'm the regional area, and where we run overall, everybody else over there, and they report into me.
Yeah. Okay.
And in any week's time, I get either emails, messages through Messenger on Facebook, telephone calls. Yeah, I don't know how they got that number, but they got it. It's sometimes it can go as many as 45 in a week, and I'll tell you, Tracy, it's a lot of stuff to go through.
Do you just focus on dogmen? Is that it, or is it other cryptids as well?
Well, the NADP focuses on dogman only. The Rougarou, his cousins, the skinwalkers, the rake. I consider them cousins because they look similar to him. I personally do, and I have been doing for over 23 years now, any and all cryptids. I've been north, south, east, and west in the United States, boots on the ground. I mean, I physically go there. I either drive or fly. I've been over the border into Mexico looking for chupacabra. I've been up in Washington State looking for Sasquatch, over the border into Canada, northeast Canada, that is, looking for Gugway. That's the face eater Bigfoot. And I've been all over the East Coast. Of course, since I'm in New Jersey, I've been down to the Pine Barrens. That's been a place where I've brought my teams down there. Geez, I must have been going there over 6 years, trying to look for the Jersey Devil. And, that was a successful one. My motto, I should tell you, is to prove or to disprove the existence of these cryptids. And I've proven to my satisfaction the 3 cryptids in particular that I've actually saw bodies, either alive or dead. They were, some sort of a naturally occurring zoological animal that has been discovered already. So, I mean, and I don't do this for profit. I have my own job that I make plenty of money on, and this is like not so much as a hobby, but a heavy interest. I took 2 6-month diploma courses, and I posted them on my website that I am on in Facebook, that is. just to prove it. And they have numbers on there. People can look them up to see that I did take the courses, because I want to know what I'm looking at.
Right.
I know about it. I have a bachelor's of science degree in zoology. I'm working on a master's right now, which is super hard.
That's great.
It is. It's really interesting. I'll tell you, because I always say you have to know what the known animals are before you can claim that you saw a cryptid. I mean, somebody could see an overly large black bear, which we have in Pennsylvania and New Jersey, a lot of.
Yeah, we do.
They usually go 6 foot, 6'2". But in anything in human nature and in life, you're going to have a larger specimen than others. And black bear, even though they may only go up to like 6'2", once in a while you're going to get a 7-footer out there.
Oh, I can imagine. Yeah. Yeah.
I mean,
I had a bear walk in front of me one time. I was in my neighborhood just walking around to go to my car, and one came out in front of me, Nick, and I am not kidding you. This thing was massive. It was a black bear, and there was not one sound. Nothing. It walked up a street. You couldn't even hear the nails hitting the pavement.
No, they absolutely know how to walk, because you got to remember, they're predators. The only predator a black bear has is a brown bear or a grizzly. They want a black bear. And
I didn't know that.
when they're in their own state, Pennsylvania, New Jersey, we don't have a lot of brown bears around here. They're king of the jungle. They're the predators. But you have to remember, a black bear will tote up to 650 pounds, some of them big boys, and they can take a swipe at your car and take all of the metal right off your door. They're about 10 times stronger than a human male.
And fast. Have you ever seen one run?
Yes. As a matter of fact, I've seen the black bear run, but one in particular I want to mention for any of your listeners. I always believe that they really should go to zoos and watch these animals, see how big they are. In nature, if you can read about it, I was in Washington as a backup to a friend of mine who was a bear hunter from up there. He had a license. I was his backup to make sure that nothing snuck up on him. And it was a good thing, because on the day that we were out there, he was looking down the valley at a nice big black, it was, God, how do I describe it? It's a black and brown bear. And this thing was huge. He's looking through his scope down the valley. And I see off to his left a very large brown bear that sniffed him out. Now, if you put him in the 12 o'clock position, I was in his 4 o'clock position, and I was looking all around, watching out for him. And this brown bear, not the one he was looking at now, but the one that was on his 9 o'clock, started charging him. And this thing, I'm telling you, Tracy, it went from 0 to 50 in about 3 seconds.
I totally believe it. I've seen it. I've seen it before.
Anything I tell you, by the way, can be looked up on Google or anything on the internet or in an encyclopedia by your audience.
Okay.
Brown bears, black bears, grizzly, they have a large muscle mass, but remember, their bones are super thick and they can travel really fast. This bear looked at him and for some reason was charging him. And it was about 250 yards away, and I could see it coming. And it was moving fast. And he didn't even know it was coming at him. I had to take the shot, and I hit it with the first shot right through the left eye, and it dropped. And he got the credit. I didn't want any credit for it. I didn't even want to kill it, to tell you the truth. I'm not a hunter.
Yeah.
I don't hunt animals.
Yep.
So he had to take the credit. Otherwise, I would have gotten in trouble. But
I understand. Yeah.
He had the license. Let's put it that way.
Right. Well, you're defending yourself. I can't imagine that, you're going to get in trouble for defending yourself, for God's sake.
I didn't want to go through the problem. So
Right.
Day, he brought in his four-wheeler and he hooked it up, and we tried it out after that. But this thing was absolutely huge. The muscle mass on this thing was enormous. The paws, I wish we were doing video, because if I told you that from the left to the right, the paw was approximately 20 inches.
Yeah.
I mean, that is a big paw. Now, if you look at a black bear, their paws are maybe what, 6 inches across?
Yeah. Yeah.
Small. But this thing was huge. So we're talking about a dogman or any other type of a cryptid, say a Sasquatch. We're talking about a dogman that's 7.5 feet tall. We're talking about a Sasquatch that generally are 8, 9, 10, 11. 12. Two in particular that I can quote. One in Alaska where a certain Bigfoot researcher, big time name guy, I won't name just in case he might get offended. I don't want to tell his story because he has his story to tell. But when I was speaking with him, I told him about a incident I had in upstate New York, going right over the border from Jersey to upstate New York. And I was called there by a lady who thought she had a dogman problem, and it turned out to be a Sasquatch. She took pictures from her backyard window, and she had the eye shine, and I matched up the tree that she took the pictures of where the eye shine was at, and we measured it. I went there with 2 other fellows. Now, I never go, the full story is a little bit deeper than I'm telling you right now, but I went there with two fellows that I go out with because we didn't have a full team to go. I only like 7-man teams because we can cover everything. On this night, I wish I had a 7-man team because this was crazy. We measured on the tree the exact one she took the picture of with the eye shine. It was at night, and it was 15 feet tall up to the eye shine.
Holy.
Now, Tracy, there was no branches on this tree. There was no branches on this tree, so nobody's going to tell me that it was an owl or a or a raccoon. No, there was nothing there. Her problem was Sasquatch, because after I got the whole story from her, I found out, 2 and 2 together, she was gifting food.
Oh no!
In the backyard, she had a stump of a tree left. It was approximately 28 inches around. They left 3 feet of it off the ground. They didn't de-stump the thing. What she used to do was put 2 or 3 apples, because she had an apple tree, and she collected them, and she put the apples out every day, and every day they would be gone. And she was thrilled with that until one time she found that she had to leave for 4 days and go take care of her mother and father.
Right.
She wasn't home for 4 days. They freaked out.
That's the problem. That's the problem.
Well, let me tell you what they did. On the side of her house, right up against the house, her father, when he was better, he was feeling better and he was younger, he sunk 42 inches into the ground, because they have a 42-inch frost line in upstate New York. He sunk into the ground 4x4s, and he created a pen for her garbage cans because she was having raccoon problems. What he did was he put extra thick fencing on the outside of these 4x4s and on the inside. Then he covered the top, and he reinforced the top so the raccoons could not get in. No more raccoon problem. Getting into her garbage cans. All right, but the Sasquatches probably smelled something in her garbage can, or Bigfoot, if you want to call them that. Canada, it's Sasquatch. Here, it's Bigfoot. They tore that garbage area. Tracy, the 42-inch sunk deep 4x4s.
Yeah, that's insane.
They were sticking out of the ground 4 feet. They were all torn out of the ground. The fencing was all over the place.
Their strength is amazing. It's just, you have to wonder how they even let people alone. Like with the way they can. Just the strength they possess and everything. Like, why do they allow people to, in a sense, just live? And why don't they bother people more?
The answer is that there's different types. Just like in human nature, you have different types of humans. You have different types of Sasquatch. Gugway is the face eater. The Genosquatch is the one that rolls itself in sticky pine sap and then rolls itself in rock, so that it'll have an outer shell when it attacks its enemies. Your regular Sasquatch, I think for the most part, they avoid humans. And there have been stories where they actually have helped humans.
Yeah. Yeah.
And like lost little children. I mean,
Yeah.
last year there was a little boy that was found after a couple of days. And I think they actually brought him back. He was like 3.5 years old. And he said the bears, he lived with the bears.
Right. Yeah. I've told stories about, that kind of stuff. I mean, the problem with the Sasquatch and even the Dogmen and whatever cryptids are, but basically I would say more the Bigfoot than anything is that you just don't know, they're so powerful and they've got, I mean, do you believe they have special abilities? Have you seen anything along those lines with the special ability or any kind of connection? Like, what do you believe they are?
When I first started doing this, and well, I had a encounter, I want to call it, on September 13th of 2013 at
Mm-hmm.
11:30 at night. And at the time, I didn't know what a dogman was. I did not know what it was. And I saw it, and I'm thinking, this is a werewolf. But my God, when I went back the next day with a team and we checked the area, we measured it against the stop sign where it was standing. And to the best of my knowledge, where the head was, and this was 7 feet 7 inches. We measured it with a tape measure, just like we measured the tree area that she gave us the pictures of the Sasquatch I shot.
Yeah. Yeah.
15 feet for a Sasquatch. Now, what I want to get at is a creature that big. And once again, I want to bring into the creatures we know, bears. Bears have a bone structure. If anybody studies zoology a little bit, if you look at their bones, they're about 4, sometimes 5 inches thick around. Now, a bear with a 4-inch thick bone, bone mass generally, then you have 4 to 5 inches of fat and 4 to 5 inches of muscle.
Yeah.
You have to get through all that in order to, defend yourself against something like that. So we're looking at creatures like I said, a bear, a black bear, 10 times stronger than a man. A brown bear, probably 12 to 14. Grizzly, the same thing, 12 to 14 times stronger. So you got to imagine a 7 foot 7 inch dogman, an 8, 9, 10 foot Sasquatch. Their bone structure is gigantic. Muscle mass, humongous. They do not eat carbohydrates. They're out there eating deer, rabbit, whatever kind of animal they can catch.
Right.
For all I know, also eats, well, this is what I'm told, they eat berries. They have a lot of berries and apples and sweet fruits. Dogman, I've never read or heard from anybody that they eat anything but meat.
Yeah, me too.
Meat eaters and apex predators. They're the big deal there.
What's your theory on what they are, though, Nick? I mean, what have you, through your research and everything, where have you gotten, like, where do what do we feel it is?
Yeah, that's coming around in my story there is I wanted to give a background on, what I thought they were in the beginning, because I'm looking at this dogman when I first spotted it, and I was 30 feet away, approximately 30 feet away. And I'm watching this thing, and in its right paw or claw, if you want to call it, the nails look to be about 3.5 inches. It picks up the hindquarter of a deer and puts it to its mouth and bites. Now I'm figuring if this thing can eat, it's got to be physical. It also smelled. I could smell it. It smelled of a blood-like smell and urine smell. And say to me, "Oh, it probably was the deer." No, it wasn't the deer, because when it finished, it walked off. It didn't just stay there for 10 seconds. It stayed there for a little bit over a minute. And if I had to guess, I would say a minute and 10, minute and 15 seconds. Then it walked off, and here's the cravat. It made noise when it walked off. It went over broken tree limbs and sticks, and it went through the leaves at the time, and that was it. And at the time, I'm figuring this thing's physical, but Now that I've been studying it and Sasquatch for all these years, and I have a saying that I like to use for Sasquatch, that is, where the footprint ends. Because people have tracked Sasquatch footprints to the middle of a field, and to the left, right, and forward, there are no trees.
There's nothing.
And there's nothing, and it disappears.
Disappears, right.
And so where did it go? Okay.
Right.
Here's my thought. They either use either Dogman, Sasquatch, they either use portals or they are some kind of an alien creature that have been put down here. They disappear, they get, like in Star Trek, beamed up.
Right.
I'm leaning more towards the portals because there probably are other dimensions, Tracy.
I know.
And just to throw it out there, our vision as humans, our sight, we are only seeing 10% of the light spectrum. There's 90% that we can't see. There may be other dimensions present next to me talking to you right now. And I see these people or aliens or whatever these creatures are. But there's something going on in the other light spectrums.
Right.
I know there's other light spectrums because infrared, if you shine it out there, bears can actually see it. They've destroyed a lot of people's trail cams. Even when they put them 20 feet up in the tree, they've destroyed the trail cams. You can see, you see on a trail cam is a bear's nose.
Right.
And believe me, you probably know. I don't have to say believe me to you, but for people out there,
I know.
Bears are smart. They can get into your Chevy Tahoe. They can open up doors. In fact, if they want to get in your house, all they got to do is smack your door.
I've always thought bears were like the ultimate predator, Nick. They can swim, they can climb, they can run. They're fast. And they're smart. It's like, honestly, that would be the one predator I would not want to run into as a bear that was after me. Outside of the cryptids, I'm talking about just regular animals that you find in the forest.
I agree, and I got to tell you, there's no truth to the fact that if the bear's coming after you, run downhill. No, they can run downhill.
Yeah, I'm sure they can run at least faster than we can anyway.
Oh yeah, you're only going to die tired. So my advice is, like, when I go out there fully equipped. And I mean fully equipped. We're talking rifle, sidearm, and 200 grain bullets in both the sidearm and the rifle. 308 rifle, 10 millimeter sidearm, 200 grain bullets. And why am I saying that? Because, like I said before, if it can kill a bear, I didn't say this before, but if it can take down a bear, it'll take down a dogman and at least give you some chance against a Sasquatch, especially if they're 10, 12, 15 footer.
That's crazy. That height is just, I've heard of that before. That people have seen, ones that tall, but it just isn't common. It's not the typical height of the sightings is usually around 7 or 8 feet. That's pretty typical.
I'll get back to the defensive part in 1 second, but I want to throw in here that one cryptozoologist, researcher, and boots on the ground guy that I won't mention his name because, like I said, I don't want to spoil his story, but he went to Alaska and he found footprints of a 15-foot Sasquatch. And how do you know it's 15 feet? It's by the stride and also the depth in the soil where they were at. And I was on a show with this individual at one time, and he mentioned that, and he goes, that's exactly correct. He's telling me, he's going, yes, it's, you can tell all that from the stride.
Right.
This thing had an enormous stride. You would not believe it. But getting back to when I go out there,
makes you wonder how tall they do get. What is the tallest one that's been in existence so far? My God, it's just crazy.
Well, so far I've heard of 17 feet.
Yeah.
That's scary. That's scary.
I've heard 20. I heard 20 from a hunter that actually, he hunts them. That's it. That's the tallest I think I've heard so far. And that's crazy. That's
the person that called us about it, and I actually got a face-to-face interview because I like to talk to people on the cell phone, set up an interview in person, drive to them, fly to them, or whatever. If it's serious enough, if I feel like they are actually telling me something on the up and up, because there are people that are out there that'll just waste your time and try to,
Yeah.
you because for, excuse my French, for shits and giggles, because they want to go fool us. But what I was saying before, though, is when I go out there, I'm fully loaded, and I have everything with me. First thing I'm going to use is the bear spray. I have 2 bear spray containers with me, plus I have regular people pepper spray. I don't know if you know what I'm talking about by that. The bear spray
I
shoots.
have bear spray. I actually I use it. I don't use it. I have it with me when I do stuff as well. I was going to ask you about that if you felt that bear spray was effective.
Excellent, excellent thing to use, not only bears, but I've seen it used on an alligator right in front of me.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen it used. I've used it on a black bear, the bear spray. I've also used regular stream human pepper spray, the kind a regular human would carry for self-defense or the police.
Right.
That actually worked on a black bear. My feeling is this: even if you're interdimensional, come through a portal, you're an alien. If you can breathe, if you have eyes, if you have a mouth that you eat things, if I hit you with pepper spray, it's got to bother you. And if it doesn't,
Exactly.
you have 2 other things to try, and those 2 things should bother you. But I also take out with me, besides pepper spray, I have black salt, I have white salt, I have holy water, just in case. And you got to think outside the box.
You do.
I am out here so much with a team that, you say, wait a minute, we could have used this. All right, how much more weight's that going to add? What can we leave home? Instead of adding more weight to our packs. But I also carry electronic flashbangs. I carry a ultrasonic whistle that goes up to 146 decibels. My electronic flashbangs are little balls that shoot out 1,200 lumens of light, and in a flashing pattern, and it also shoots out a sound of 138 decibels. So I'm thinking that maybe their ears will get affected, because if a German Shepherd's ears are 40 times better than mine, and a bear's ears are like 37 times better than a human's, well, maybe this apex predator dogman or Sasquatch can get affected. It can't hurt. It can't hurt. Plus, I carry with me, and so does the rest of the team, a small laser that shoots out about 500 laser beams from the front. So if it is an alien, I'm going to try to affect them one way or another. I mean,
Right.
Like I say, I'm loaded for bear, and I'm going to be using everything and anything I have out there if it's attacking me. I'm not out there to hunt.
Yeah.
For research, I'm going to take the pictures. I'm going to put the casts out. Take plaster casts. If we find one that's dead, well, all the better. We'll bring it in.
Right.
But here's the big but. Who am I going to take?
It'll be gone. It'll be gone within an hour if you bring it. Darn well.
No. If I brought it back with my team, I mean, we have a team. The team is 7 people, and we're all, former tier 1, and we know what we're doing. So we bring it back. We'll put it someplace safe. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to, take pieces of it if it's dead, and I'm going to take it to a local. This is something anybody can do, because people are doing this nowadays. You know how you try to get your ancestry.com and all that stuff?
Yep.
Well, I go to a certain veterinarian in my area who now does background lookups on dogs. People bring their dogs in and say, I want to know what my dog is.
Oh, wow. That's neat.
Oh, what's the background? Well, it's part Rottweiler, part Golden Retriever, and part Shar-Pei. Okay.
Oh, no.
Cost approximately $425 to have it done.
Yeah, that's cool. It's cool they do it, though. It would, you're curious to know.
Yeah.
Well, I am. I mean, I felt maybe do it, but I just haven't done it yet.
I'd rather keep that $450 and get myself a full tank of gas. But, not going to be funny either. It's not good.
No, it's not funny. I run a business where I have to use gas every day, and it is not comical at all. It's just unbelievable that our gas prices went from $1.88 to, or $1.89, how many months ago, to now we're up to almost, $5. So it's
Yeah,
crazy.
I know. They really need to stop.
I
But
don't know what is going on with some of this stuff. I was just thinking, even, driving by, like I was out the one night, and so many of the restaurants now close at like 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock. And you
yeah,
go there and you're like,
yeah,
why? Why are you guys closing? And they're, they give you these stories that are excuses that, well, that we don't have people that want to work. And I'm like, you guys have the same people in here that you did, a year ago, 2 years ago. They're still here. So what's the deal? Like, what's going on with this? It just doesn't make any sense to me. Why is everything suddenly now closed down early? It just, I don't understand it.
I
So,
I went out the other night and I was just jonesing I mean, I'm not a real big Starbucks fan because I think they have burnt coffee beans, but I do like the coffee I make because it has vitamin D3, resveratrol in it, and it's a premium Colombian coffee. I get this by mail, but
mm-hmm.
I had that this morning and I was kind of jonesing a cappuccino or something. So I figured, all right, let me go to Starbucks.
Yeah.
I prefer Dunkin' Donuts, but there are none close to me that have that. So I went to this Starbucks, and sure enough, the biggest one on a main highway, and it was closed. It was 8 o'clock.
Yeah. Can you believe it? But Nick, it doesn't make sense.
Oh,
There's no justification for it.
and then I figured, let me go to this store that I wanted to go to. I won't mention their name, so they won't be mad at me. But
Mm-hmm.
I went to the store because I wanted to pick up some stuff, and for the upcoming conference that we're having, I figured, oh well, I'm out. I might as well shop. And I went there and they're closed. It was 8 o'clock. They're closed. It was like, what's going on?
It almost makes you wonder if it's something with the product, if they're trying to conserve on, not running out of product, because business is busier than ever for almost everybody. I know that our business like tripled, and everybody I've spoken with, their business has picked up. Like everything's really just, there's just a lot of stuff going on with sales, and I'm just wondering if it's a way of maybe conserving, the product, like if the deliveries are too much, like they would have to order too much.
Tracy, I
I'm
don't
not
think so.
sure.
I don't think so because I know if I'm a business, I want to sell everything I have,
You would think so,
and
but
I think they would want to do that and make sure that you are on top of your ordering and order
mm,
in such a way that your orders come in to replace your missing stock. But you're right, even in the supermarkets, there you go up and down the aisles and there's just missing things.
right. That's what I was thinking. It's the only thing I can really think of that, because I know that like with us, we had to, buy so many more freezers, and there's, we had to do more stuff in order, we haven't done all of it yet, but I mean, we had to, make some modifications to things because we just, it was ridiculous. Like
Mm,
it's just crazy. But I can't fathom why they're closing. Like they didn't before. Like Walmart was always open 24/7. Wegmans was open 20. Now why suddenly are they closing at like 10 o'clock?
yeah.
8 o'clock? Like, and some of them are so early. Like I mean, we went down to the one restaurant. I think they closed at like 7 o'clock.
Oh my gosh.
And I was like, that's like, I don't understand. I'm just really baffled by it. And I just haven't really gotten any explanations other than, we can't find help. And I'm like, but you ran this restaurant for years and it was never closed that early. So why suddenly?
I guess I got off topic or we got off topic, but
No, I know it's okay. I do this all the time. It's fine.
a
I like to get to know everybody anyway. So,
couple
but
of minutes for me to give a plug to the upcoming Dogman Cryptid Conference.
oh gosh, yes,
Okay.
definitely.
Josh Turner from Paranormal Roundtable. He's located out of Texas. He's got this humongous following, this big show. He is the main factor, the main force pushing this. In Paris, Tennessee, on August 13th. It's actually the 12th and the 13th, but the 12th is a VIP day. So if you got VIP tickets, they sold out in the first couple hours. But
That's
he,
great.
but he still has regular tickets left. But it's in Paris, Tennessee, and I'm going to be there along with Josh Turner, of course, and 14 other cryptozoologists, researchers.
Mm-hmm.
There's going to be some authors from cryptozoology, and we're going to have speakers. We're going to have a panel. We're going to take a picture of, I mean, this is going to be a momentous occasion because it's going to be the first time in cryptozoology where you have so many field investigators, researchers, people that have just anything to do with it, you know, the known names, all in one place. Now, in the 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, and I don't want to say 70s, but in those years, the 20s to the 60s, there was a lot of cryptozoologists who went out on safari trying to find different cryptids.
Mm-hmm.
And they've never had more than two of them together in one time. We're going to take a picture with 15 plus Josh Turner because he's a big thing in the community. And I guess they'll make copies of it or whatever for people that want them.
Mm-hmm.
But this is going to be a momentous case. I don't think this has never been done before. You have Bigfoot conferences, you have UFO conferences, you have all kinds of conferences, but never before this many people from the cryptozoology community together in one time.
Oh, that's
going to be fantastic.
That sounds awesome.
I'm doing the I guess it's 12-hour drive from New Jersey to there.
Mm-hmm.
Only because I'm bringing equipment with me that the TSA wouldn't be too happy with.
No.
So, you know, those electronic flashbangs they wouldn't be happy with. And
yeah,
I give people their absolute money's worth. And the people that are going for VIP day, the 12th, they're getting a dinner, a full-blown dinner. And I don't mean a little tiny, you know, speck of food. No, they're getting a really good dinner. Josh is making total sure of that.
okay.
And they're also going to get swag. They're going to get patches. They're going to get shirts, hats, stuff. I mean, you name it. They're going to get a ton of stuff. More than their money's worth.
Right. Gosh, that sounds awesome. It really does.
Yeah, that was a $75 ticket. And the people that are going, you know, even at the door, you can pay $30 to get in. But or you can order them online. It's on all of our sites. It's on my NADP sites. It's on Paranormal Roundtable. D.A. Roberts is advertising it. You know, either that or people could just arrive, pay $30, get in. You know, they'll put a little a wolf paw type of a bracelet on you, like you get in the hospital, except it has little wolf paws on it.
Mm-hmm.
And you're in, for the day. It'll be a once in a lifetime. If he does it again next year, that would be phenomenal. But
that would, yeah.
You know, it was done this year, and if it's never done again, they'll never see it again. The hotel asked for two things: payment for the conference center in Paris, Tennessee.
Mm-hmm.
The second thing is they want I think it's a 18 by 24 glossy picture of all of us. So the picture we're taking, they want to hang it up in their hotel.
Oh, that's so cute. That's cool.
I mean, Comic-Con is a big deal. So, I mean, geez.
I know.
We wanted to do 300 tickets, and I says, that's crazy. The hall holds 500. You're never going to have 500 people in one shot.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to have vendors there. You're going to have cryptozoology authors, you know, with their books and stuff. You're going to have all kinds of things. I mean, you name it, it's going to be there. So it's Dogman and cryptids, other cryptids. So, you know, Mothman, Sasquatch, you'll probably have some people there. They're going to have, you know, places where you can grab something to, you know, pick up to eat while you're there.
Right.
You know, like a regular conference center. And we'll have speakers up on the stage. And I can't wait to do mine because I'm going to show them the electronic flashbangs, the hypersonic whistles. You name it, I have it. I guess the only thing I'm not going to show them is the firearms because anybody can go find out what a firearm is. But
yeah. Do you have an extensive collection of pictures, Nick?
I have pictures of claw marks. I have pictures of footprints. I have some. Well, I don't have a lot, but I have some plaster footprints that, you know, when you find a real good footprint, and you believe it's a cryptid, you know, I have that. For the most part, I'm taking pictures because after a while it got to be a little crazy with all the footprint plasters that I had taken over there.
Right.
And
Yeah.
they have to be taken in a certain way, and it does take a while to get these things to dry, before you move them. Because if
Right.
you can get the dermal ridges or any kind of bottom, you know,
Mm-hmm.
the foot when it's stomped down, if you got any sort of scars on there, you want to pick all that up.
Wow.
And you do have to wait a X amount of time for that plaster of Paris stuff to dry.
Yeah, I understand. So what do you think as far as do you have any theories on the connection? Like, have you had any kind of thoughts as far as like religious wise on it? Like, is anything like come to mind for you? Like, if there's any kind of relation to biblical stuff or anything like that, or how do you
I
feel about that?
Tracy, I've done a lot of research, and I mean that's people say, oh, you have no life. That's not true. I mean, I work out, I do all kinds of stuff. I have reading that I do all the time.
This does consume you, though. I will say that because
But
I'm telling you, when I'm done working, I look forward to nothing else than coming home and getting just watching things. And I mean, it becomes like an obsession.
I try to put up posts in there for people like for Friday and Saturday nights, or if it's a dreary, dull Sunday, I'll
Mm-hmm.
a post where they can actually go to a maybe a YouTube show and listen
Mm-hmm.
to 2 hours of Dogman stories or cryptid stories or something, and something that at least you'll
It's
get
just,
some knowledge from it. I personally,
yeah.
right now, 27 books behind um, of cryptozoology books that I have to read or something about
Oh,
cryptids.
no.
I was up to 35. I got it down to 33 last week. I mean, it's constant reading. Plus, I go to
Wow.
libraries when I go out of the state. This is a big deal now. You go to the libraries when you go out of state because all these different states, if you go to their microfiche,
Mm-hmm.
areas, they'll give them to you, and you can go through the newspaper reports from back in the 1700s, the 1800s, and you'll see
Mm-hmm.
they actually talk about these creatures.
Yeah.
So this is
Yeah.
what I'm interested in finding.
I
It's
would be too. That would be really fascinating, actually.
I mean, you go to a little tiny bookstore in West Virginia. I mean, it's a gold mine. You wouldn't believe
Wow.
the book that people have written on certain creatures. West Virginia is noted for the Mothman. So is Chicago, but West Virginia was the Mothman, and they have these little old books. They're maybe 100 pages long, and they're 5 by 8, in height and width. And I mean, you find something like that, that's a gold mine. It's like, wow, I'm buying this now because they have pictures in there, and they have all kinds of stories and people's names and places and stuff you can
Oh
invest.
my gosh.
I am more into the field investigation than I am into the keyboard warrior type research.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I have to do that research anyway. And when people call me up and tell me they have a sighting or they 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 had a an encounter, I need to research the area.
Right.
So that's what I do, and I do the background research and I speak with them, and that's where it builds up to whether I'm going to take a team out to go boots on the ground out there. Boots on the ground is a
Mm-hmm.
thing. I'm going to tell you, Tracy, it's the best thing in the world.
That's what I'm actually getting ready to. I'd like to actually start getting into that this summer. I'm thinking about actually going out and doing some, my daughter had a sighting of a little person up in Rock Run.
Right?
We had a dogman sighting down here right around the corner from our property in the park of a dogman. And I saw a rake right down the road. This is all right around where I live.
Yeah,
So it's like,
interesting.
yeah, it's a hot spot up here. We had the area was at one time it was they ran it was like the Underground Railroad
Yeah,
type
yeah,
stuff, and,
right. Well,
so I don't know if any kind of a vibe here or what that's going on, but
caves and tunnels, that's where dogmen love to hang out.
we have caves right up the road here.
I'm quite aware of that, of the area. And there is just so much. But do me a favor, if you do go out, and for your listening audience, if
Hmm.
you buy the bear spray, remember the military adage: two is one, one is none. You have 2 bear spray with you. If you have 2 people, you have 4, and
Okay.
you learn how to take the safety off.
Okay.
Learn how to take it off. Bear spray shoots in a conical shot. So
Okay.
it'll shoot maybe 30 feet. The one I carry shoots 36 feet, but generally 30 feet it'll shoot forward, and it'll shoot out in about a 90-degree conical shot. So
Okay.
all you got to do is aim it, and if it dodges to the left, it's still going to get hit.
Right.
So but make sure you know how to take the safety off.
Yeah,
Because
I did already. I did make sure of that. I always do that with my, pepper spray and anything I get. I kind of go through those steps just to know how I can quickly access it if I need to. But sure, a lot of people don't. So,
take a bag of salt with you too. Put it in a Ziploc bag. Have it handy to throw, at whatever's out there, because you never know. Maybe you
okay.
will come upon something. Once again, goes back to what you asked me. I don't think Dogman or Sasquatch are from biblical times, because I've done the research.
Mm-hmm.
I've actually read the New Testament Bible, page 1 all the way to the end. And in Egypt, they had the jackal-headed type of creature, but
Okay.
I don't think it's a religious thing. But I like to think outside the box,
Yeah,
and
me too.
should
I
never
try.
say no. But I'm thinking portals at this point, because
Well, you mentioned like aliens, and that's why, I've had so many encounters with things in my life. Like I've gone through so many weird things and encounters and just crazy stuff. And I've had, dreams and I don't know, I'm just one of those people, just I'm like this magnet for this stuff. But um the feeling I got with it, with the alien connection, there have been people that have seen dogmen inside of, like a spacecraft, a craft,
right,
and they've seen Bigfoot in these crafts. And I feel this is something I felt that there is a possibility that the ETs, I feel that there's a possibility they were created by the Watchers. That's what it was, just a theory. Now, we don't know. I mean, we all just kind of come up with stuff, and it's just something you throw out there. It's thoughts that you have. So you can't really say 100% of anything, but it's just something that crossed my mind. And I just kind of wanted to pick your brain and see what you felt about it. If
well,
there
I,
could
I had I had I had really heavy duty feelings about the alien Dogman Sasquatch connection.
mm-hmm.
I've also had some thoughts about the portals and other dimensions, but just to get back to the alien connection, I've interviewed a lot of people who have said the same thing you just told me, that they
Yeah.
saw a craft and it looked like there was a Dogman. They saw a craft, looked like it was a Sasquatch in it. And I mean, I guess a lot of the people were telling me this, said, well, I actually had a camera with a zoom lens. So I looked up, or I had binoculars, I had a telescope. I actually saw it, with my own eyes. Well, damn, when this thing gets to be 50 feet away, it's going to be kind of rough to discern what's inside a spacecraft.
Mm-hmm.
What I wanted to tell you is what I did was, now this is going back a year. I took a 300 and over a period of 6 months, I did this research of people that had reported seeing a Sasquatch or a Dogman, also reported seeing a orb in the sky before seeing the Dogman or Sasquatch,
Yeah. Yep.
and after seeing it, or before and after.
Yeah.
What I did was I interviewed as many of these people as possible, and it got to be a little bit over 365, 385 area, in a 6 month time period, because that's all I wanted was a 6 month, swatch of time. And the people told me 92% reported seeing a unidentified flying object. They call it something different now, but UFO, an orb in the sky, a light in the sky, before, after, or before and after seeing the Dogman or Sasquatch.
Right.
92% reported seeing that. Okay,
Right.
so, is it a possibility? Yes.
Yeah.
Now, I want to tell you, it didn't stop there, because people got word of it. I've done interviews, and people got word of it that, oh, I did this research, and they're sending me their stories. And it got to be around the 600 zone of reports. And it's still hovering around the 90 percentile area of people that have seen an orb in the sky before or after. My own personal encounter, when I saw it that night on September 13th, after it walked away into the woodline area,
Mm-hmm.
I didn't go following it, but I saw approximately 120, maybe more feet away in the sky was a white orb.
God.
At the time, I didn't think anything of it because I wasn't putting two and two together. I didn't think anything of it. But when I went back home that night, I wrote it down and I made sure that I noted everything about it, because my background is paramilitary. It's also police, and we're taught what to ask yourself, when you're writing a report, and what to put down. And I put that down, and I went back to it. And here it is years and years later, and I went back to it. I reopened that case, by the way, and I even told Josh Turner about this, and I talked to him on his show, I guess 2 months ago, about it. I reopened the case because I got 3 other reports of a dogman sighting in the area where I saw one. And this is in the Watchung Reservation area. It's like a park area for people to go have barbecues, kids swings. It's just gigantic. Now, Tracy, it's a former Lenape Indian area. That's where the Indian tribe was actually located a long, long, long time ago. And I found out from one gentleman up there, a Native American, he's a Lenape Indian, that there is a Lenape Indian burial ground up there. I guess they're not building it on it or doing anything to it. They're leaving it alone. But here's another bit of information if you didn't know this already, but through the Native Americans in the United States and also the First Nation people up in Canada, you can get this information if they'll talk to you here in the United States anyway, because they generally don't talk to a white person because it's not only bad luck for them, but it's something they don't want to bring upon themselves. But Dogman.
Well, they talk to somebody that has Indian in them, like if somebody that is part Indian or something like that. Do that.
You can prove it.
Okay.
Prove it. But I've been told to just leave. Plain and simply, we're not speaking to you, just leave.
Wow.
They will not speak to me about Dogman. They will not speak to me about skinwalkers, especially.
Yeah, I've heard that.
Shapeshifters, they will not, because they even say the word in their own language, skinwalker, and they could bring down upon them evil, to their family or themselves.
It's funny that's actually biblical. Even it's even in scripture that if when we speak words, it doesn't matter what it is, we can either curse or bless ourselves through what we speak. That words actually has a power to them.
Actually, it goes deeper than that. When you think,
yeah,
it can go. And they do not want. They asked me, politely but very finally, please leave.
Right.
Now, okay, I'm not going to bother anybody. I know you're not going to talk to me, and I can't force you to. But I've had reports in there, and I've led a team up there a few more times, and I was speaking to Josh Turner about it because he believes that they're more of the paranormal. But, like I said, my encounter there, it was eating a deer hindquarter. And why does it need to eat if it's paranormal? I don't know.
My theory is that they're crossing over into the physical realm. I feel that they're part physical and they're part spiritual. Right. Because if I feel now this, and like I said, we don't know. I'm not going to sit here and act like I know this. This is just something that I have just, everybody has like what they think or they feel when they hear things. They have their own perspective of it. And what I know of God and, the biblical stuff and even just the sightings and the people I've spoken to and hunters and everything, and you round all of it up, and what I got was that, I feel that they were created the Watchers created the ETs. The Watchers also created the Dogmen and the Bigfoot, because what I understood was that they were, when they did the DNA for the Bigfoot, they found that they had a human mother, and the father's origin was unknown. And when I talk to like people, there's other people that have had encounters with them that have actually had, mind speak with the Bigfoot. They've mind spoken with the Dogmen. They told them that they come from the star people, that they're from the sky, and the sky is the realm of the demons or the fallen. So it just seems to me, now this is, like I said, it's my theory, that it's all biblical to me. Like it's not, I'm not one of those, crazy, like, oh, it's got to be all about God and, that's it. But it just feels to me like there is really something to it. So I don't know, but it just, even the aliens, like the grays, it like, I don't know if they're actually, I have this weird theory that they, could be like little droids that they create. They could be using like the cow eyes and the parts that they're taking out of cows when they have these the what is it called when they drop down and they do these dissections and stuff, the cattle mutilations.
Oh yeah, the mutilations, right?
Yeah, the ET's eyes look very similar to like a cow's eyes. And it's just stuff that you think about. And that's why I really wanted to kind of get your theory on this, because I just, it's weird that so many of us, our theories are kind of along the same lines in a lot of ways.
Well, everything does circle around back to the beginning, and that's
Yeah.
probably why. Um, you see, another theory I was tossing around about is that the extraterrestrial aliens, maybe they put Dogman and Sasquatch down here on the Earth as soldiers to look and check the area out to see if it's
Mm-hmm.
for them to land. If maybe we have certain elements that they need.
Mm-hmm.
You never know why they may put them down here. Maybe they're checking out our armed forces to see if we can defeat them or not. How well we can defend
Yeah.
them. Who
Yeah.
knows? I mean, you can never say never, and I'm not going to toss out any theories at all ever.
That's how I am too. I'm open to stuff with it, because we all have, I think it maybe if we take little pieces of everybody's ideas and theories, we might, I don't even know if we'll ever get anywhere with it really, but it's, studying it, finding out what we can. It's fascinating. I don't know if we're ever going to have all the answers.
Well, there was a group. There is still a group today that I started on Facebook, the Quad Coalition of Sciences. And
Mm-hmm.
what I wanted to do was bring together the paranormal, UFOlogy, cryptozoology, and regular science, zoology, and bring everybody's theories together. Because, see, all four of those areas fight for monies to do research.
Mm-hmm.
If we combined our research, maybe, just maybe, we might find one answer. We might
Right.
find that, but if everybody stopped fighting, I mean, even within the Bigfoot community, they fight. The UFO community, they fight about stuff.
And it's funny you said this. I have a friend of mine. She started out being like you and I, where we did podcasts together, and we've become very close friends. And she lives around Bigfoot and Dogman. She sees them almost daily, and she's mind spoken with them, and they've told her, that they were created to watch us, just like you said. They told her that they were created to watch us, but because they have human DNA in them, that they rebelled. They didn't want to do it when they got here. They didn't, they just didn't want to do it. A lot of them did, not all of them. And so then now they're actually being hunted. Some of them are being hunted by the ETs, and they're trying to destroy them, but they kind of just went rogue on them. But she said the same thing, that people are fighting, like these groups constantly fight with each other and compete with each other.
Yeah, I'm not competing with anybody. I'm giving everybody all the information because basically, I like I said to you in the beginning of the program, I make my own money, plenty of it. I don't
Yeah.
need to make money at this. I do. The NADP and myself, we do not take donations. Anytime I've made shirts, hoodies, patches. I charged the members because, first of all, the members wanted me to do it. I didn't want to do it. It's a pain. It's a pain to have this stuff made up.
I know it is, Nick.
I have to address each and every one of them and mail it out.
Yeah, and find out their sizes and the colors. God knows what else.
Yeah, I don't want to cheat anyone. So I charge them exactly what I paid for it. And exactly how much. Well, not exactly, because sometimes the post office changes it. So I wind up losing, money in the whole deal.
Oh, no.
I don't take money. So what I'm trying to get at is I don't do this to make money. I don't care about it. I made the patches and shirts so people could have some unity and say, oh, yeah, I belong to this group here and I'm out to research and show my colors. This is my pride. They have pride in their organization.
Right.
And so that's the only reason why I do that. But I'm not looking for research money or grant money. I take teams out there because I can. I work for an organization that allows me to do that. And as the training officer, that's one of my other titles, I can do that. So when we went up to above the Poconos, we took 2 6-wheel gators with us and we towed them there. It was on the company's dime. All right. Normal Joe Blow can't do this. He doesn't go armed, quote, for bear. They don't go out there all equipped to find certain things. Now, the UFO people, I think, are the most advanced.
Are they?
Along with the paranormal, I guess, because they have all these little electronic doohickeys and stuff that they go out there and they're monitoring all the time. And the UFO people have their telescopes and electronic telescopes and regular ones and Geiger counters and you name it. They have all this cool stuff. But out there, we can afford to do it. We are protected. And I've always said to everybody, really, you have a right to go in the forest and a right to come back home.
Yeah.
So if you have to defend yourself, you're not out there hunting, and I do not hunt. I am not an animal hunter in the least.
That's good. I like to hear that. I've never really, gotten into that. I could never, hurt a living creature like that. I just can't.
At the same time, I want to get home. So if I'm attacked, I'm going to defend.
Right.
And another tip that I tell people all the time, because nobody does this, look up. As you know,
I say that all the time. I say that all the time to people that you've got to start looking at your surroundings, and that includes looking up. Because they're in trees and they could be up in trees and stuff.
And regular animals can be up in trees. A snake can be up in a tree. A mountain lion. A mountain lion from a standing jump can jump approximately 14 feet. 14 feet.
Yeah. Nobody ever looks up, Nick. They don't ever look up. It's crazy.
And because of the way I've been trained many, 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 many years, I always look up even when I'm walking through a city, when I'm walking in the mall, because I'm looking for people that are acting odd. It could be a terrorist, somebody on a rooftop, somebody in a window. You see a flash of light. You never know. This person in this day and age where we have getting shot left and right, and gun control is not the answer because they can get guns in the black market anytime they want.
Yeah.
So you got to be aware. That's it. Plain and simple. You must be aware of your surroundings. And that goes triple when you're in a forest area because that's their area, not yours.
I know.
You're in the ocean. It's the fish, the sharks, the dolphins. That's their home ground.
That's what I always say. You won't catch me in the ocean. I'll swim in the pool by the beach and at the hotel, and I'll, maybe walk my feet through it. But I am not swimming in the ocean anymore. I did that when I was younger, and now I'm like, no way. There's just no way I'm getting in there. You know what changed my mind? We went to an aquarium. We were down in Myrtle Beach. And we went to an aquarium, but we saw all these bull sharks floating around this aquarium, and I said, we're getting in this water with these things. You wouldn't get in the fish tank with them. So what the heck are you doing getting in the ocean with them? So it doesn't make a lot of sense to me. But the older I get, the more I start, I just look around so many times and I'm just like, what on earth gets into humans? Like what is going on? Like, how have we been taught some of this stuff?
People need
like
to
all the people worship and the stuff that goes on. It just, I don't get it.
people need to
But,
study like sharks before they go into the water in certain areas because, they've been coming in as close as 3 feet lately.
mm-hmm.
You know,
Yeah,
not just lately, but over the past several years. I
yeah,
don't know why, but they're coming in 3 feet. And can you imagine if it's taken by a wave and you're sitting on the sand? It's taken by a wave and it body surfs in onto the sand.
yeah,
Their mouth is still going up and down, up and down.
yeah.
They'll kill you on the sand. So here you got killed by a land shark.
Can you imagine? I mean, all they had to do is take one bite out of your leg and you sever an artery and you're dead. I mean,
That's it. You got 40 seconds to live.
it doesn't make any sense to me. I was just watching something, in fact, 2 nights ago about there was this dead whale floating around out in the ocean, and these surfers are out there right by this dead whale with all these great whites coming in. And I'm like,
Yeah, real
what
smart.
is wrong with people?
Real smart. Sharks are
They're
a problem.
just,
I'm going to tell you. There's so much of a problem in Australia that the Australians
yeah.
have imported um, alligators,
Have they?
a predator to fight a predator.
Well,
Isn't that?
that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, I know. So here you are on the beach, sunning yourself. Oh, good. I can go in the water. The sharks aren't going to get me. But now they put alligators out there, so we got a
That
big threat.
that
I
is absolutely insane. Now you've got two predators now. Oh, that's just perfect.
I have I have to ask my man on the scene, John Kershaw. He's from Creepy Cryptids. He's my man on the scene in Australia. I'm gonna have to ask him why they did that, if he even knows.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, they've got more sharks around Australia than, oh my God, Jelly Belly has jelly beans. I'm gonna tell you.
I know. I've heard so many stories about Australia and the surfers, and I just think I don't know. I just don't even. I just
Beautiful country, beautiful place to go, but like you, I think nowadays, now that I know much more, I think I'll stick to the hotel pool.
you're darn right. That's you're not catching me. I'm not even in a river. I'm just like I'm sticking to the pools. I just if I'm gonna swim, it's gonna be in a swimming pool, and anything else, I'll stay on a boat or something. I don't know.
You're in the sand, and then you jump in the water, and the alligator and the shark decides to gang up on you, right? So they're both chasing you.
That's another cryptid, though, Nick. There's people have seen sightings of mermaids. They don't look like Ariel from Little Mermaid, but these creatures that look like they're half man
Yeah,
or woman and half fish.
I've read that. I mean, like I said, I do all the cryptids, cryptozoology. I
It's
also
crazy.
look into the lore, and believe it or not, that little guy on the Lucky Charms commercial,
Hmm.
uh, there have been a lot of people that have reported seeing them.
Yeah, my daughter saw that. My daughter saw one up in Rock Run's pretty around this area. That's a pretty it's pretty, she said it's really active up there with stuff. Like they got really dizzy one day. She was up there and everything got real weird, and she got real dizzy and her boyfriend did, and I thought, oh my God. I was like, you guys really need to be careful up there. But I live in an area that's pretty there's something going on in this area. There's something, you can feel it.
I've been working on I guess you would call it a liner for a helmet, and what I have in it is copper mesh and aluminum mesh. It's
Oh.
it's sort of like something that would fend off, like a Faraday cage. It'll
Mm-hmm.
fend off radio waves, maybe mine waves. Because a
Oh,
friend of mine who's a Sasquatch researcher, um, he does Sasquatch research up in upstate New York, all the way up there in the Adirondacks. And
yeah.
he was hit by mind speak by Sasquatch on a couple occasions, and they actually knocked him down to the ground because I guess
Wow.
close to something. He could have been close to maybe the youth.
Mm-hmm.
He was close to where their food supply was. Maybe he was close to where they live. I don't know, but he was knocked to the ground, and
Yeah.
really wasn't good for him. It's my buddy Jeremiah Fontaine, and
Yeah.
he's up there, and I've been working on something. I got to send it to him to let him try it out for when he's up there because that's a real deal. That's a real thing. Not only will they talk to you and say, "Stay back," you know,
Yeah.
don't shoot at me or we will kill you. I am quoting people now, people who I've interviewed. And
Right.
they said, yep, I was in there. I saw the Sasquatch. I raised my rifle and I got an immediate thought in my mind. If you shoot at me, you will be killed.
Wow.
Or they would say, leave the area now. Don't take any pictures. Leave the area. I mean, literally hundreds of people that I've been able to
Mm-hmm.
converse with or get them to send me an account, in an email or something. And this is what was said. And over and over and over again, it's the same theme.
Yeah,
And
it always is. There's so many stories that are just, it is the same theme. I mean, and there's other stuff too. I mean, there was the family that, the one child, one of their kids was abducted, and everybody, like, they went into this like hypnotic state, and they were walking along in like a daze, and when they came out of it, one of their kids was gone, and the little girl or little boy, I can't remember which one it was, said, well, the furry man took it, or took him or her.
yeah,
And it's just stuff like that. It's like, I mean, this stuff is just, and it isn't the fact that they exist though, Nick. It's the fact that, the knowledge and the information and the truth isn't out there. We're not being told that they exist. Nobody, you can't protect yourself if you don't really believe in something, and nobody really wants to believe in it unless the government actually comes out and says it's actually real, you
well,
know?
here's a statistic for you that I came across from 1995 to 2015 on the East Coast. Now I'm only talking about Oregon, Washington State, and California. There
Mm-hmm.
were well over 3,000 reports of sighting or an encounter with a Sasquatch. At that same time period, 95 to 2015, in Western Canada, there were 650 reports. Now,
Wow.
let me ask you, that's just a little time frame.
Mm-hmm.
Getting these reports, and it's been written down in books and newspapers and passed on by word of mouth. The Native American Indians know more about this than they're saying, and so we know they do know.
Mm-hmm.
First Nations people in Canada, who are a lot more open, have talked about this. Now, I'm quoting to you maybe 4,000 people within a 20-year period that
Right.
reported in 3 states plus Canada.
Right.
Okay, are all these people lying, Tracy?
They can't be.
Are they all looking for their 2 minutes of fame? I mean,
Right.
these people are not reporting sightings because they don't want to be ridiculed.
Right.
They're not reporting sightings because they work for a company, and if the company finds out that they said this, they could get fired or let
Oh,
go,
definitely.
or
Yeah.
maybe given a hard time, or maybe they're looking to get a raise, or maybe they're looking to get a higher position in a company. Who wants to
Yeah.
hire Joe Blow over here who just saw a Sasquatch and was running around the woods with them, and I'm going to make him head of my shipping and receiving section? No,
Yeah, I know. I know.
the guy's a wackadoodle. That's how
Well,
they're.
I mean, I saw a rake with my own two eyes, and my daughter sat next to me and saw it. We were driving in the car. It's clear as day.
Yeah,
It crawled across the road right in front of us, like on its stomach. And we didn't think to report it. You don't think to report it. You just, the first thought you have is you doubt that you saw what you thought you saw. That's
right.
the first thing you think, is that, did I really just see that? And then you'll go and you'll tell your close friends and your family, but you certainly aren't going to pick up a phone and, call an authoritative person or an agency and tell them that, I mean, they'll have you committed,
Yeah,
you know?
that's the
So
first
it's,
thing to do. And as far as the government with the MIBs, the Men in Black,
mhm,
that's generally formally actually the
mhm.
United States Air Force used to investigate UFO and strange sightings, and they wouldn't go in uniform. Okay, they would go in suits. So
Okay.
likely they were in dark suits, and they would knock at a door and say, Mr. Blank, I would like to talk to you about what you saw.
Yeah,
And then
yeah,
convince them that they didn't see what they saw after they got the whole story.
right,
The United
right.
States government, the U.S. Air Force has actually stopped doing that for more than a couple of reasons. And one of them being economics. It just costs too much money to keep sending people all over the place.
Well,
because
don't you feel the sightings are picking up so much as it is?
oh, they are. Like I told you in the beginning of the show, Jody Cook, who's the founder of NADP, he and I were talking, and I said, "What's going on?"
Yeah.
And right now, the Northeast is a hotbed, hotbed of sightings and encounters, hotbed, and it's continued from the 7 months ago all the way through to now. I mean,
That's what I'm trying to figure out. What is going on that's causing so many, there's just this rise of sightings. There's so much more of it now.
well, the obvious, first of all, the obvious would be that they're putting up more and more townhouses and homes, and they're pushing them away. Now, remember, Dogman, Sasquatch, any cryptid really that you want to talk about is going to look for a water source. That's number
Sure.
one. We as
Yeah.
can't live more than 3 days without water. They're looking for a water source. They also need a food source. What's their food source? Mainly deer, you know,
Mm-hmm.
animals in the woods, anything you want to name it. I seen a coyote torn apart, and the innards were eaten out. So
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what did that. That was when I was in Texas. So I mean, there's
This
plus.
is just crazy. It's just nuts. I don't, it's overwhelming at times.
Mhm.
There's so many thoughts and theories and ideas that come to your mind, and what if this and what if that, and there's just so. I mean, it's just it just gets overwhelming at times for me. I just sit and think, my God, there's just so much going on. There's so many different creatures. There's so many disappearances. There's so many, reports of this and reports of that, and it's just, and you just don't have the answers.
Right. Well,
There's no answers yet.
the other answer to that, why the sightings besides the water, the food source, is living. Dogman's generally caves and tunnels or
Mm,
burrows. How are they going to make a burrow in a forest if they're tearing the forest out? I mean,
right.
these giant metal machines ripping stuff apart. Sasquatch seems to be a little bit more adaptable, and they also probably live in caves and they have areas. I mean, don't think that those little teepees that people find out there are or where
I
they live.
don't.
They
No,
do
I
not.
don't think that at all. I've even theorized that they don't live here at all. That if they are portal, they're going in between portals, that they don't actually live here. They just go in between the portals, drop in, and maybe they just eat. I don't know.
Mm.
But it's just a thought. And then what about the reptilians? Have you ever seen or had any sightings or known anybody that's had sightings with those?
I've never seen any, but I've interviewed people, and this is more down the southeastern section of the United States.
Okay.
Louisiana area, the Florida area. I had a couple of reports. Of course, you're not going to want to go there anymore now. The
Oh,
Myrtle
no.
area, just going in South Carolina. I mean,
Okay.
as close to New Jersey and Pennsylvania as South Carolina. So people have said that they went out, for a day in the forest area because people want to enjoy the forest. Maybe make a campfire and
Mhm.
cook hot dogs over the fire, and they saw something coming out of the water, and it didn't look like a Sasquatch. It didn't look like a dog man, but it looked like a greenish tinted, slimy skinned creature, and it was bipedal. It wasn't on four, so it wasn't an alligator.
Like we're living in the land of the lost or something. Like, what is going on?
What's going on here? I mean, it's not.
We do not, that's what I tell my listeners all the time. Like, we do not live in the world that we have been told that we live in. What we have been taught is not at all, the whole story. So,
No, this is not grandma's spaghetti and meatball time anymore. This is past our parents' time and into ours now, and it's like,
mhm. Yeah, but we're sitting ducks if we don't have the knowledge. Like, we need to know what the hell they are, what they're capable of, how to defend ourselves against them. My God, Nick, especially if there's an uptick in sightings and they're coming out more and more. I mean, what if they're just getting more bold and they don't care? I mean,
well,
according to one of my friends, the one that lives around the
yeah.
Bigfoot, they said that they're all waiting for they call it the Great Battle to start.
Well, I got news for them. They're going to lose because there's an awful lot of humans on this earth. And, we do have a lot of firepower. The whole reason why Germany, not to bring up World War II, but the whole reason why Germany never invaded the United States is because they watched movies of us and they thought we were either gangsters or cowboys, and that
I heard
everybody had a gun.
I know.
They were right. They were right.
Well, I think Americans are pretty well. I mean, we are pretty. Now, I might be wrong about this, but if it really came down to it, I'm not so sure, Americans would be so submissive. But I don't know. I mean, some of the stuff that goes on now that you see that they buy into, it's pretty, it's interesting. Because, I just don't know where we would be if something were to really pop off.
Well, I think we would defend ourselves. And people have asked me, how come there's not more dogman attacks on humans? Well, there have been over the years. Lockett Ranch back down in Mississippi, that was a year-long battle.
What happened?
At LBL, Land Between the Lakes.
Yeah.
That got lost there. I mean, those are just the most well-known ones. The other ones, a lot of them that have been reported out there or have been hushed. And
right.
Say that the dogman is smarter than people want to give them credit for. I say they are so smart that they know that if they do have an uptick in killing humans, that the government will decide, okay, enough is enough.
Right.
A lot of pressure on us. We're going to have to take them out. And that we would hunt them down.
That's exactly what I've thought too.
Creature and destroy every one of them.
We would. In fact, the Army does go in whenever there's sightings of one that's, in a sense, out of line. And, there have been reports of them coming in black sedans or black SUVs and, shutting the area down and hushing everybody up. And they'll go out and they'll, do a hunt and come back in with a bagged whatever it is. And off they go. And they never see or hear from them again. So it's, it's just, I definitely believe that they're too smart to. And they understand that if they do start killing us, that, it isn't maybe that they don't want to kill us. It's just that they know enough not to. Otherwise, they'll get hunted and destroyed.
Yeah, I mean, there's probably in the entire world maybe 1 million of these creatures combined.
You think so?
And what do we have on this earth? 5 billion people?
Yeah.
So, 1 million versus 5 billion, or even if you just put it down the armies. I mean, an A1A Abrams tank is, I'm sorry. I don't care if you do have a 15-foot Sasquatch. I'll go with the Abrams tank.
What do you think about the missing people? Like the number of, I know at this point, I'm sure you've heard of the missing, all the missing.
411.
Yeah.
Well, that gentleman that does that show, I won't mention his name because he's a little touchy, but he says there's 3 reasons. I have a 4th and 5th reason. And his 3 reasons are you fall in a hole or in the water, you're eaten up by a known creature, a bear, coyote, wolf, mountain lion, or a serial killer or murderer gets you. I have number 4 and 5. My number 4, cryptid.
Yeah, me too.
Dogman and the like, reptile man. Number 5, and I'm very passionate about this. It's us. It's our humankind. It is the worst thing people could possibly do is grab a female and sell her.
Right.
It's just human trafficking, which is what I'm going to say. I might as well.
Yeah, I believe you. I think so too.
And Idaho is a big place of all places, right?
Yeah.
Idaho is the biggest place in the United States for human trafficking. So there's one right there. Because I could defend you falling in a hole or in the river, and you're caught under the water. Well, they have cadaver dogs that can smell you under the water.
Mm-hmm.
That good. I've seen it with my own eyes. I was there on a very few occasions, but I was there to see it. And a cadaver dog will find you if you're down a hole or in a cave.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And as far as an animal eating you, all right, there's got to be some kind of a blood loss, a blood trail.
There has to be. Yeah.
Dogs that can find it. They have investigators that can track it. and they could see it. If it's an animal, if a bear got you,
Mm-hmm.
As far as a murderer, it's kind of hard. Say it's a man, a 200-pound man. Well, it's kind of hard to, bring him off into a trunk. I mean, there's got to be some kind of a
Right.
if it's a female, 110, 120 pounds, still something. There's got to be a trace of some sort.
I know. I thought the same stuff you do.
When you get to the cryptids now, the cryptids will pick you up and take you away.
Right.
That's one.
Right through a portal, possibly even.
Right. And the professional people that deal in flesh, that steal females, they know how to do it. They will track you and they will grab you when you don't see anything, so that there is no tussle, nothing left behind.
Right.
They're so good. And I mentioned Idaho because it goes straight up to Canada, and that border is porous going from here into Canada. And
is that why it is? Is that what it is with Idaho?
It is. There are ways to get through, and that's the reason why we have individuals coming from Canada into the United States and United States into Canada, because
Right.
they know where to go. You cannot cover that whole border. It is gigantic.
I know.
And I mentioned Idaho because one of my members 2 months ago was almost kidnapped from a certain area in Idaho. It's a walking running path. And she used to walk there on her lunch break. She got in touch with me and told me what happened. And she, fortunately for her, she carries a 45 and she knows how to use it really well. And when this guy stopped his car, which was just off the beaten path, but it was on a road, he stopped his car. She heard him stop it. She noticed it. He got out of his car, was walking towards her. She told him to stop. Don't come any closer to me. Oh, I just want to talk to you. No. What do you want? Say it from there. Don't come any closer. He kept going. She pulled the gun out and he was looking down a barrel of a 45.
Holy crap.
He ran. Now, what I want to follow this up with is the reason she contacted me was because a month later, it was all over Facebook. It was all over newspapers. A 29-year-old female was kidnapped from that area. She's missing. I'm going to say kidnapped. Missing from that exact area where she was almost accosted.
Right.
That exact area. And I was able to send up 2 of my guys to go check the area, talk to the local police, add to the search and rescue. They found nothing, not one thing of this lady. Nothing. She's gone. This human trafficking is horrible, and I wish people would push their political people to, be more concerned about it. Because I'm going to tell you, I would have wanted to go out myself, but I couldn't. I had commitments at the time that I could not break. For this, I would have broken anything if I could have, but I could not. I sent up 2 other fellows who were trackers and everything. They were in the area. Nothing. It was a dead end. Got nothing from the local police. Got nothing from the local forest people. Search and rescue people were at a blank. We're at a blank. I'm saying these were the professionals that must have taken this girl.
It's just crazy.
It's just not nice. People have to be aware.
I'm even careful when I go grocery shopping or anything where I park, if there's something, I always look. I don't know, I think I have one of those minds to just, I'm on the defense a lot, I'm always, I'm always looking around to make sure that there's not something parked next to me or guys around, something.
Prepared, not paranoid, prepared.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm very careful. I always keep mace with me and weapons. I always have stuff, and I'm always prepared for something to jump out. I mean, you can never know if you're totally prepared if it actually happens to you, but you sure as heck can try.
Well, if you have the pepper spray in your hand, if you have a blade in your hand or something that you can use, if it's in hand, you're one up.
Yeah.
If you recognize something's happening, you're now 2 up, and you're probably going to, survive it.
Yeah.
People really need to be more aware out there, because I'm going to tell you, I'm 5'10", 200 pounds. I've been working out since I've been 3 years old. And I stopped. martial background, military stuff, everything, soup to nuts. I'm not an easy mark. And I look all the time. I look into the back seat of my car.
Yeah, me
I
too.
look at my car to see if there's maybe a plastic bottle on it, because that's marking you. That's marking
Mm-hmm.
you to that's one of the indications that you've been marked, and they'll go after you. So I don't care where I go. I'm going to look all around before
Right.
I get into my car, and I'm not going to hit the clicker until I've passed my car and looked around and made sure nobody's going to be jumping out.
I
And
know
if
what you
they
mean.
jump
Yeah.
out, well, good luck. That's what I say. Good luck.
I know I'm funny even about pulling in my driveway sometimes. Like there's times, I'll be driving and somebody's just kind of being a jerk and they're tailgating you or they're
Yeah,
just kind of being kind of an a-hole and I won't pull in my driveway when I've got somebody like that behind me. I'll go around and go,
those
I
are
don't know, just really when you know, just careful about stuff.
listening to
But
you. Anybody listening to you, if this happens, you go to a police department.
hmm
You get on Google Maps and you say, where's a local police department? Or you get on the phone and say, call the local police department.
yeah,
And you
yeah,
tell them what's happening. And you don't stop your car. And when
right.
you stop your car at a red light, make sure you don't stop it up to the bumper of another car. You want to leave at least a car length between you and that car, because if you have to make an emergency turn, because these guys
Okay.
out of their car now, they're right up on your bumper. When you stop, they got out of their car and they're coming after you. You
Okay.
you've got a 2,000-pound machine, maybe bigger. You use it because you got to defend yourself.
Right. I
And
never
people,
thought about the red light thing about not getting, too close. That's a good point.
that's something you never want to do, is don't get too close, because you need to be able to turn. And don't be shy
Okay.
about getting up onto a sidewalk if you can't go any other place. Or
Oh, I would, believe me. I
if
would do whatever it took.
push comes to shove, use your rear bumper. Don't kill your motor. Slam into their car, and make room. Make room so you can get out.
Right.
They're not, I know we're talking cryptids, but
Yeah, hey,
in this
it doesn't
day,
matter what we talk about. If it's something important, I'm
it is
game for it.
in this day and age, they're not just, oh, we want your money. No, if you're a female, they're going to do nasty things to you. Then they're
hmm
going to mutilate you. Then they're going to kill you. All right.
Right.
If you're a male, the same thing. They're not just they're not they're not just satisfied with getting your money. They want
Right.
everything. So just be prepared to defend yourself. Be aware, people. Look up, look
Yeah.
around,
Yep.
and somebody comes up to you to ask directions, especially your kids. Teach your kids, people. Nobody should be coming up to a 12, 13-year-old girl or boy and asking him for directions.
No.
No, go up to an adult.
No.
Don't do that with a little kid. Teach
Nope.
your kids. People come by, and tell them why. Don't just tell them what to do. Tell them why. There's no reason for an adult to do that.
That's something that irks me. I was thinking about this a lot actually lately, especially that why don't they teach martial arts in school for the kids? Like instead of giving them gym class and all this crap, like I mean, why don't they take time out to teach them how to defend themselves?
Because
It's something that should be offered, Nick, don't you think?
yes and no. Because martial arts, as taught, doesn't really work on the street.
Okay.
Really work on the street. Plus, you have to be committed and you have to be of the mind that this person wants my life, or
Yeah.
they want to damage me beyond your comprehension. You got to be
Hmm.
ready to defend yourself. Not everybody is. There
Yeah,
a lot of everybody is a sheep. The
that's true.
people out there are sheep.
I know.
You know?
But is
And
there something they could do in schools? Like, wouldn't there be some kind of self-defense course or something that don't you feel that they should be
uh,
teaching the kids something?
the catch six is that the catch 20 rather is that they might use it on each other.
I understand that. I mean I know, but I mean just
You, if I had you as an adult, and I said, Tracy, I'm going to show you a few things that you can do.
mm-hmm.
Practice these until you got it down pat. You promise me you're going to do it? Yes, you are. You're going to be able to defend yourself. A 250-pound man comes over, I can show you what you can do.
Mm-hmm.
And if he does this, this is what you're going to do. These are your reactions. I'm not going to teach you a million reactions.
Right.
These are the reactions you do. This is the reaction you start off with. If that doesn't work, you go to plan B. And there's certain ways to teach people defense. But if you're not willing to defend yourself,
that's true. Look at Afghanistan. Not to bring that up, but I cannot believe there's entire countries of people that aren't even willing to defend themselves. I just don't. I can't even get over it. I can't get over it.
It's amazing. And
the women and the oppression that the women allow.
Yes.
I mean, I'd rather die than live like that.
I mean, that's just so wrong. Yet the men in these so-called countries that you're talking about, they could do whatever they want.
They're crazy. It's basically they're just they're rapists. They're serial killers. They're just it's just the most evil form of human being you could ever imagine that are just running rampant through the entire country, and everybody, like all the women, all the children are completely oppressed by it, and they're all just sitting there just letting it happen.
Well, look at that area. Well, there was a movie on it, Black Hawk Down, the Somalia area. And what the United States used to do is we used to airdrop giant packages of food. Who do you think got that food? The warlords took the food, kept it for themselves. It never got to the people. So why do you think we went there? We went there for humanity, for human aid. And that's why we got involved in there. And then we saw that, hey, the government and the people don't want to help. They don't want to defend themselves. Plus, you see these people, what they do is they starve these people so that they're cowed. They're too weak to resist. That's their whole plan. They're just evil people. They don't care about the people there. They want to make them slaves. They want to, rape and steal from them and keep them weak.
And in the name of a religion, and that's what really gets you. It's like, that's not God you're serving, sweetheart. That's something entirely different.
To me, it's power and greed.
Yeah.
Power and money are two big movers, prime movers out there, and it's horrible. The stuff I've seen is horrible, and it's just like these they deserve it.
I know.
I can't understand people being sheep out there, liberals saying, "Oh well, guns are bad, guns kill people." I never seen a gun kill a person.
No, if we take our, that thing with allowing the government too much control over us and the power over us. I mean, and then this is something to think about this, Nick. Think about the fact that the government does not tell people that cryptids exist.
Yeah.
And now they want to take our guns away.
Really?
And then we're having more sightings on top of it. So what's the agenda there? And how the hell are we supposed to defend ourselves then?
What's funny is history. They're trying to rewrite history. Now, what happened in Germany, for those people that do know history, before Hitler took over, he started the campaign of taking away everybody's firearm.
Right.
He banned firearms, people. Let's listen to this. This is true. This happened. Look it up.
Right.
That's what happened. He took over. He took over the country, and you were either with him or against him.
Yep.
So, what is that called? What do you want to do? You want to allow the government to take away your firearms? I don't think so.
Just people are convinced that if, the guns are gone, then there won't be any shootings, apparently. I mean, they just don't understand that you still have the government that could turn against you. You still have people that, like you said, the black market. The guns are still going to be out there. They're just going to be in the wrong hands.
How did drugs get over here into the United States? All over every state. How do they get here, even though they're illegal? Well, how do you think guns get here, even though they're illegal?
It's crazy. This whole mind frame is just, I mean,
they can't stop it. They can't stop it. So stop making law-abiding citizens, stop making them not be able to defend themselves.
Right.
That's it, plain and simple. I mean, a well-armed
If a
militia.
person wants to kill somebody, they're going to find a way to kill the person.
Yeah, I mean,
For the most part.
I, I know of many people that with a a kitchen knife
Mm-hmm.
go into a mall and kill 100 people
Yep.
because they know how to do it before anybody knows anything went on.
And what are they going to do? Ban kitchen knives then?
That's what I
You
was going
know?
to say. Are we going to ban kitchen knives? Oh, we're
What then pens, anything sharp. I mean, what are you going to do to keep control, trying to control everything that you cannot control? I mean, it just doesn't make any sense.
Tracy,
But
well,
is there another agenda there though, Nick? Is there something else that's going on that that we're not aware of then?
we're going to have rounded butter knives from now on. And okay, so we get rid of all the kitchen knives. All right, so now those same people go into a mall and they kill people with a flathead screwdriver.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you, I got about a dozen 6, 7, and 8 inch long-headed screwdrivers
Mm-hmm.
in my home. So man, they're going to
Mm-hmm.
for me because boy, but you can kill somebody with that.
You can
Very
kill. I mean, my God, you can kill somebody with so many things. It just but I'm just wondering, like then what is the agenda? What is the reason if they know that the majority then of the people that would have guns would be the ones that were the criminals on the black market, then what is their agenda? What is it?
you can't stop them then if that's what they do. If they ban guns in the United States, then the criminals will still have the guns. And you go someplace, guy comes out with a gun, says, "I'm going to shoot you. I want all your money." Oh, you don't
Mm-hmm.
have any money? Bang! We're going to kill you anyway because that's how it is.
Right.
So I mean, forget it. The police can't be everywhere. You do call the police, they can't reach you in time.
Right.
What are you going to do? It's just not.
I don't know. I'm so, like I said, I was saying about even people worship. Like I was, I was driving down the one street, going somewhere to get a slush because I love slushes. And, I looked over and it's 95 degrees here today. And there's this band on the road that, it's like this really small town. It's just this junky little town. And there's this band playing in this really weird location. It's a very bizarre location for a band to be playing. And people are just standing there staring at them. I'm just like, I'm looking at the scene going, what is wrong with people? Like, why would you come out in 95-degree weather to stand there on a hot pavement to listen to somebody play music and you're all just standing there staring at them? And I'm just like, oh my God. Like some of this stuff, I don't understand it. Like the royal family, like that type of, and, this whole Johnny Depp, Amber Heard,
Oh,
people just sitting in the courtroom all day long listening to them.
oh, people love that.
But the worship that they do with movie stars and royals and politicians and what is going, like, I just don't understand it. I can't understand why they elevate another human being above themselves so much,
Oh yeah.
you know,
I'm
but
sorry.
they do it.
It's off one leg at a time, like I do, and put their socks and underwear on. So it's
But I mean, it's crazy though, Nick. Like they're so honored
yeah.
to be in the presence of another human being, you know?
I look
They
at
put
it like,
human beings in positions to rule over them.
yeah. What information can they give me? How can they help me live better?
Right.
Because I'll help you, but
Right.
what do you do? What will you do for us?
We're
Not much.
supposed to be equal and we can learn from each other. Some people aren't, they don't really have stuff together. They've got issues and stuff, but for the most part, people, I mean, I can't grasp that concept of having another human being elevated to the point where they can roll over me and actually, do things to me, affect me in a way that could kill me or harm my family or,
Yeah.
tell me I have to pay this or, just the stuff that's going on. It's also out of whack to me. It just seems so unnatural to me.
Oh, it truly is. It really is.
But anyway, not to get all political, I just, I just can't. I don't know. The older I get, the more I'm just looking around going, I look up and I'm like, Lord, this just doesn't make any sense.
No, it doesn't.
None of this makes any sense to me. it is a really wacky world. It's a very, this realm that we live in it's a very wacky, and it just doesn't, nothing adds up. There's just, and then you add in all this other supernatural stuff that's going on. Like we're living in this fantasy world, that,
Exactly.
I
Yeah.
mean, we don't even know where we're living or what we're living in or what's going on really. We just, it's like a simulation or something like it. Somebody said that to me the one day. They said, well, we're living in a simulation. I said, well, yeah, we could very well, if you want to break it down, anything could be considered that, God's simulation or, whatever, but I mean, if you want to put it in those terms, I mean, yeah, it could technically be considered that, but.
And depending on who's in power, they want to protect us from this, that, or some other thing. Really? How about giving us the information to protect ourselves?
You mean as they're raising gas prices to $5 and packs of bacon to $15 an hour or $15 a pack, and prices are so high that people can't even feed themselves or travel anymore? Is that the kind of care that they're showing people?
I know.
You know?
I have to tell you, I tried to write to the White House. I looked it
Yeah.
up on the internet the other day, and they said on the whitehouse.gov site, right? I went to the right site because if you go to whitehouse.com, you might get a porn site.
Mm-hmm.
So I went to whitehouse.com and I got the right address. I wrote a letter to the current president.
Mm-hmm.
I told him my situation. I told him the present situation in gas. I says, can you please do something about it?
Yeah.
I said, everybody writes something, they got to listen, even if he doesn't read it.
Mm-hmm.
So got to listen. You know what? It came back to me as a mailer demon.
Yeah. That doesn't shock me.
That means that site no longer exists.
Right.
This president and his people decided, well, we don't want any more emails. Okay. That really makes me feel good.
They don't care about the voices of the people. They care about their, their plans and their agendas. And let's really be honest about this though. Are they even human? What's really running the show down here? If we've got aliens and cryptids running around, and if we've got, reptilians, and there's mermaid sightings, and then there's the potential that this could be, connected to the biblical stuff, and then that means Lucifer's running the show. I mean, some of these people that are in power, are they even human beings? Because that would be really the only real justification of why they really just don't give a shit about people.
That's the truth. When
But it's just,
when somebody does get in and they give a damn about what we are and how we're living, and then they want to get that person out, well, gee,
yeah, and the passion behind that, but the passion behind wanting to get that person out, and the hatred that it created, and it creates for, whoever's in it's something to really kind of wonder about.
I mean, I'm all for people coming into this country legally and following the rules.
Exactly.
You can't just walk into Russia or China.
You can't do it anywhere.
You can't just walk in. You can't walk anywhere. Nope. Here you can. But by letting people just pour over the border, there are terrorists from Muslim countries out there coming over the border with those people, and they're here to become sleeper cells and to do damage, real damage to us.
Exactly.
Fake damage, and they are patient. But you also have people coming over the border, and the old diseases are coming back. Polio
I know.
is coming back.
Do you see the monkey? What was it called? The monkeypox.
Yeah, I
don't know where that was though. I'm not sure if that was this country. That wasn't in this country. It was somewhere else.
Yeah, I'm not so sure it's a real thing, but wow, come on. First,
they're just, but my concern with the borders was, it was mainly for me. It was ISIS. It was, the Muslim countries that are the terrorist Muslims, and then the child traffickers and human trafficking. Those are my I mean, it's all important, but it just, those are the two that, I mean, you're talking, that ISIS stuff is just, they're like a virus. I mean, they multiply and just kind of take over areas like a swarm. You know, it just that's scary to me.
It's been
That's
going
really
on. It's
scary.
been going on since the Crusades and before then.
I know.
Now they're taking over Europe. So it's like, oh,
Well, look at I've heard. I don't know if you know much about it. I don't know a lot about it yet, but I think there's parts of Wisconsin and Michigan. Is that true? Or
Wisconsin,
Minnesota?
Minnesota, all three of them. Yeah.
Yeah, that they've got blocks and stuff shut down for, you know, this belief system that they have that I don't know. I just can't. Oh my God. It's just
It's
wow.
hard to wrap your head around, but I
It's
mean,
just so much.
the mayor is in Michigan of a couple of those areas. You know,
Oh,
it's like,
yeah, it's true. Yeah.
Tracy, they're playing the long game. They're patient, and they're gonna get themselves embedded,
Yeah,
and
they are.
you know,
You're darn right they're patient. They
one
are patient.
day it'll happen.
I don't know. I don't know, where this is all headed to. Like I said, I feel it's biblical, but that's my belief system. I feel this is something that's what it's going to come to. I really do. I really do. And I think there's a very strong possibility that these cryptids that we're seeing are connected to it. You know, I don't know how or in what way or what the purpose. And I'm not even saying they're all bad. Maybe they all have free choice, free will, so they can choose whether they decide to be good or bad. I don't know. I just don't know. I don't know all the answers to it, but I just feel that there's a connection there to something that's a lot bigger than we have any idea.
Well, as in anything in everyday life, we got to be prepared. You know,
Yeah, I just wish we knew what they were capable of. Like, I wish we knew more about them, what they're,
people have to get their heads out of that little hole in the ground, and or get their heads out of their cell phones and
their cell phones.
look and see what's happening, and be aware and know that things are happening, and maybe have a plan. Have
Hmm.
some sort of a plan. Having a plan is better than not having anything at all.
Yeah, at least try. Go out fighting at least. God's sakes, at least go out fighting.
I mean, if you're going to go down anyway, might as well go out fighting.
Exactly.
Enough people do that, you're able to survive, or
Yeah.
is able to survive. But things are they're just not going in the right direction.
Have you ever had any paranormal experiences?
I used to investigate paranormal,
Did
spirit,
you?
and the stuff. Yeah, that's how I started out when I was much younger. When I was in high school, started when I was 14. My mother told me about two experiences she had. She saw a lady that had passed away, and
Yeah.
he appeared to her when she was younger on two different occasions. And my mother told me about it. It got me interested. So when I was like 12, 13, 14 ish, I picked up books by Hans Holzer, the ghost,
Hmm.
the original guy out there. I mean, and I used to pick up these magazines that they had in the stores, and I would read as much as I could. I'd go to the libraries and read about stuff like that, and I formed a little group of like 9 friends of mine, and we used to investigate things like haunted cemeteries that they said
Yeah.
you could not cross at midnight. Okay, I crossed the cemetery by myself at midnight with no light, just walked across, and nothing happened to me. I think that was a very safe place because dead people aren't going to attack you.
Yeah.
And anyway, we used to do like paranormal stuff, and a couple of the people bought those electronic spirit boxes.
Yeah.
We used to check out cold spots in old abandoned houses, or funny places like that were suspected to be haunted, old factories and the like. And after doing that for a good, oh my gosh, about 6, 7 years, I never found anything. I was able to disprove the cold spots.
Were you really?
Because I found the holes in the ceiling, and this one,
Oh no.
there was a closet that had a cold spot, and it went up 10 feet, the interior of the closet.
Hmm.
There was a hole in the side, and then we went upstairs,
Oh
and
no.
a hole in the ceiling. And
Yeah.
okay, well, this is where the wind's coming from. You know,
Yeah.
really never was able to satisfactorily, get a spirit to talk to us or prove anything. I'm all about proving or disproving.
Yeah, I understand. Yeah, you like the more scientific part of it.
That's my mantra: to prove or disprove. And
Yeah.
over the years, I found certain cryptids, like the Jersey Devil, is actually a horse bat. I
It's a
actually,
what?
it's a horse bat. You can look it up on the internet.
Are
You can
you
see
serious?
yeah. I mean, it looks just like what the description. Nobody's have a picture of the Jersey Devil, but they have a description. And
Oh
the Jersey
no.
Devil looks like the head of a horse with bat wings and skinny legs and
Mm-hmm.
mealy little feet. And this one gentleman that we came across, I mean, I had been there for 6 years, the Pine Barrens, and he showed me a dead body of a horse bat. And this thing was about, oh God, 42, maybe 43 inches long,
Holy goodness.
3.5 feet.
Wow.
There have been reports of them being up to 4 feet. And it looks just like what the Jersey Devil is noted to be.
Okay. Well, that's
Uh,
interesting.
like I said, prove or disprove. If I either prove it's real or prove it's not real.
Yeah.
Same,
Yeah.
I live in Jersey. It's easy to get to the Pine Barrens from where I live.
Right.
Parkway takes me right down there, and I've been down there investigating it for over 6 years. And
That's amazing.
one day we were out there. I was out there with a team, and he asked, "What are you guys doing out here?" And we told him what we were doing, what we were looking for. He goes, come on, I'll tell you. I want to show you something that looks just like that. And then he's trying to pick our brains, asking us if there was a circus that might buy it from him.
Oh my
I think
God.
he was looking to get 100,000 for it or something.
Oh, good Lord. Yeah, that's great. Maybe if you pass it off as the real Jersey Devil, you could.
Yeah, well, it's a possibility that this is what people have seen all these years.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
If
It's
there
true.
was an animal.
Yeah.
These Black Panther sightings in the UK. I mean, people have been known to have pets, and when the pet got too big, well, maybe they released them.
Yeah.
People are funny. In New Jersey, there was this lady they called the Tiger Lady. They found out that she had something like 20 tigers on her property. It was all fenced with different layers of fence, And I mean, and then
Okay.
her husband went missing.
Oh,
So it was
they
like,
probably ate him.
it's possible that she got pissed at him and said,
Yeah, she could have fed him to them, fed him to the tigers.
Tigger, go get him, bite, and that's the end of them because tigers are known to eat. She could
Yeah.
have starved them, and that was all they had to eat, and maybe they ate them.
Well, then what's your theory on like ETs or aliens then? Do you have any kind of feeling for that?
We have a lot of reports, in the sky. The government has released paperwork. I actually got a hold of some of the paperwork, but Tracy, it was so redacted that I couldn't get anything from it.
Mm-hmm.
Redacted the paperwork. I mean, I'm glad I didn't buy any more than I bought.
Mm-hmm.
The information is free, but the paper and the ink is not, so you got to pay for it. And the mailing
Yeah.
costs. And I did not want the 3 million pages because I don't have that kind of money. But what I
Right.
did buy was certain times and dates, and I'm going to tell you, they redacted it so heavily that it didn't give me anything. So, I mean, as far as ET, it's a possibility. I mean, after
Yeah.
all, look at the pyramids, both in South America, the Incas and the Mayans, and
Mm-hmm.
in Egypt. How the heck did they do that? I mean,
Right.
blocks are 8,000 pounds.
Oh, I know it doesn't. It's just no way. There's just no way.
No, I mean,
There's no way human beings could have built that like that. There's just no way they could have.
but maybe they
Some.
came. Maybe they came, decided that we weren't worth it, and they left. Who knows?
Yeah.
Maybe they're still checking us out, and maybe they're still thinking we're not worth it, so they're not here. Who knows? Only time will tell, or maybe the government will come out with it finally.
Right.
But so far, we're not having such a good time of it.
I sure hope when we pass through this world that we actually eventually do get answers. Like if we do, our spirits move on to somewhere else, then we actually are like, oh, so that's what it was, or that, I mean, it would be really nice if this
Well,
didn't continue this secrecy on into the next world, but who
you know
knows?
what Houdini said before he died. He didn't know he was going to die, but
Yeah.
he was going to have a ruptured appendix. when he was under the water.
I believe that. I know.
But what he did say, and this is quoted in the newspapers and quoted from people's mouths that he spoke to and who was really, he says, when I leave this world, if it's possible, I will come back and let you know.
Wow.
So far, he hasn't come back and let us know, because
Right.
it used to debunk, people that said that they were magicians or magical people and stuff. He debunked these people. So,
well, I've watched, like, the people, like some of the hypnotism stuff is fascinating to me a bit too, where the people actually speak different language. Like, they'll come out and they'll regress back into, like, say they were an Egyptian, and they'll start speaking Egyptian fluently and stuff. I mean, that stuff's pretty wild.
well, I was in North Carolina many, 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 many years ago, and a friend of mine got me to go to his Baptist church, and they were speaking in languages in tongue, they call it. And it was, from what I understand from my background in school, from high school and also grammar school, they made us learn Latin. And I understood a lot of the words that were coming out, and some of the Latin that they were saying was older Latin that I couldn't understand. But
wow,
words I was able to understand. These people went into a trance and they started speaking tongue.
isn't that nuts, Nick?
I couldn't explain it.
There's so much that is unexplainable, and then there's stuff, like you said, the Mothman thing could very easily be explained, and then but then you've got this other stuff that goes on that it's just like, okay, this doesn't make sense.
I did explain that one, by the way.
Yeah.
The Mothman, I say it was a sandhill crane.
Yeah.
If you look at a sandhill crane, they can be 6 feet tall. They could have a wide wingspan. If you look at them physically, if you go to a zoo and you look at them, there is about, 5 inches from the top of their eye socket to the bottom, all the way oval, and it's red. It's red skin. And being an animal, they have that liquid in their systems that gives them eye shine. So if there's any moonlight coming, or maybe you hit them with a flashlight or a headlight or something, their eyes are going to glow. Plus, that red around their eyes is going to make them look like a big red eyes.
Yeah.
When I was in West Virginia, I saw them, and there's a migratory pattern that goes from just below West Virginia, straight up like a ley line, straight up into Chicago. I mean, that's a migratory pattern for them. So why are they seen in Chicago and down here? Now, I went to Chicago when there was some reports of Mothman flying around this church. So I went to the church and I stalked it for 3 days.
Did you really?
Yeah, and I found out what it was. They said that they saw a creature that resembled Mothman, quote. If we had a video here, you'd see me going, quote. And what I found out was these were bats that were living in the top of this church. The bell no longer rung up there, so it didn't ring their bells, and aggravate them. And what they would do is at nighttime they would come out, but they stay together. They fly in formation. And if you ever see bats flying in formation, it looks like a large singular creature.
Okay, now you're taking the fun out of some of this stuff. You do know that, right?
I know. I've received nasty notes from people, and I don't mean 10 or 20.
You're supposed to be encouraging all the cryptid belief here, Nick.
What did I tell you my mantra was to prove it?
No, I want you to. Well, at least you've seen Dogmen and Bigfoot, so that helps a little bit.
I haven't seen Bigfoot, but I've heard of it, and I've seen the destruction they can do and what they can do.
Yeah.
And I've had a log thrown at me and some other guys that were out there when we were investigating. So that's a real thing. But so far, I've been able to prove to myself, to me, very simple, Mothman and Chupacabra.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool, though. I've never really been into them that much. My interest is really the Bigfoot and the Dogmen. And I have to be quite honest, I'm very curious to know, because I've heard reports that people have seen vampires, and like real vampires, like they weren't.
That's another thing out there is the vampire stuff, and
I don't
know. I haven't Haven't been able to go to Romania or Transylvania to actually check it out. But in the old days, they used to bury them below 6 feet, and they would put a iron cage above them so that they couldn't get out.
Wow.
So, I mean, they would do the whole stake thing and everything. I mean,
Yeah.
I do all the cryptids. I do lore. Um, it's like they actually did put wooden stakes from a certain tree, right through the heart, so that this person couldn't come back alive. Because they
I
thought,
should have had you on the show, and I'm gonna have to have you back on at different points here because I have a feeling you're one of those people you need to almost take one subject and stick to that and cover that in its entirety because it seems like you have a lot of knowledge with this stuff.
well, I do a ton of reading, and I've been doing this for over 23 years.
Yeah.
Zoology,
Yeah.
lore, and stuff like that, and Native American stuff, like with the Thunderbirds with Native
I
Americans,
was gonna bring that up. Yeah, the Thunderbird. Yeah.
and also, since you mentioned vampires, gargoyles, you know,
Yeah.
stuff like that. I did a show with the author and 14 researcher E.A. Roberts, and I did a show with him, and we had Josh Turner on because Josh had a lot of stories about gargoyles. So
Mm-hmm.
what we did was Josh did the stories of people talking to him about it. I did the background and the history on gargoyles, and I'm going to tell you, it's even here in the United States. They have hotels with the heads of the gargoyles
Yeah.
on the towers and in the corners and everything. The reason they put these gargoyle statues is as rain runoffs, because in the old days, if the rain would run straight down the building, it might destroy the mortar that kept the bricks together. So what they
Okay.
did was they put them in the corners as rain runoffs so that they would go straight down and down to the ground.
Mm-hmm.
The water would catch on the roof and it would go to the gargoyles and it would come out their mouths. Also, the gargoyle statues were used to protect churches.
Yeah, I know they were.
They're actually the good guys, but
Yeah.
you don't want to meet up with a gargoyle in real life because they're stone statues about, you know, 2,000 pounds and, 8 feet tall, and they're kind of hard to hurt if
You're
they
right.
to you.
Yeah.
So you want to stay away from them. Unless
What
you have,
about the Thunderbirds, though, Nick? Do you believe in, have you heard of anybody having real sightings with, I was actually watching something about Alaska where there were some witnesses that that they claim to have seen something that thought was the Thunderbird.
in Texas and the Great Southwest, yes. There's actually old black and white pictures of a
Wow.
bunch of guys with a Thunderbird near a barn. So it gives you the idea of the size of this bird. The
Mm-hmm.
Americans, by the way, and there's all different tribes, they are not afraid of Thunderbirds. They feel that the Thunderbirds are their protectors from the evil spirits.
Okay.
And thunder comes from their wings flapping,
Yeah.
right? And the lightning comes from their cries. And they feel that when there is a Thunderbird, that they are safe. So they don't feel like they're being harassed by Thunderbirds. They are happy to have them around.
Do you think it's a portal traveler or is something that is constantly on the earth that we just, you don't see it very often. There's not too many sightings with it.
You know, in all honesty, where these things have been cited in most recent times, and I'm saying the 1900s, it's kind of hard for me to. I mean, I take things apart and I analyze it. It's kind of hard for me to understand that this thing, if it's a Thunderbird and it's got a wingspan of about 30 feet,
Yeah.
has a body that's about 20 feet, maybe a little bit bigger, it's got to eat. All right.
Right.
And where they are reported to be sighted, there's not a lot of food in that area. So I mean, they got to get what they can take. So how are they lasting? They have to
Right.
be able to drink water. They have to be able to eat things.
Do you think do you think it's a physical bird or do you think it could be spiritual?
This thing could be from the paranormal. It could quite possibly be from the paranormal. Because when people come out and say, "Oh, I saw a pterodactyl,"
Mm-hmm.
it's kind of hard. I mean, for it to have lasted all those, you know, all those
Well,
months.
look at now. What about, have you ever gone into any of the recordings of Admiral Byrd or his writings?
Yes.
Okay.
And I mean, it's phenomenal what he says, but
Mm-hmm.
when I take apart things like the Yeti, for instance, Yeti are not seen down off the Himalayas; they're seen up high, and
Mm-hmm.
it's cold up there that you don't have deer or goats running around where the Yeti was sighted. So what is the Yeti going to eat? There's
But
no plants
that's
there
portals, though. That could be where the portals come in.
that could be very well the answer. That could be very well the answer.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you have a lot of people up there that report it. They've had a lot of people going up there searching for the Yeti. I mean,
Yeah.
back in the 1920s, 30s, 40s, and 50s, oh God, that was a big thing. You got the money
Yeah.
from the company to go up there and go search for one. Wow, it was something.
Not only the portals, and then they also, I mean, it said they have cloaking abilities as well. So then that would be, I mean, there could
Exactly.
be one standing right next to you, possibly, if,
They
and
they're like opaque. They turn
yeah,
white.
like the Predator versus Alien movie.
Exactly. They
Yep.
suddenly go opaque, or they go they, opaque to the point where they can blend in with what's next to them, and you can't see them. And that's a scary thought. I mean, here I am out in the forest area, in God, in Georgia, and next to me is standing a 10-foot Sasquatch, and I don't even know it.
I was talking to the one researcher I did an interview with, Darren Smith. He said that, he goes out by himself all the time. And I'm like, Darren, like, do you want, because he thinks they're physical creatures, that there's really no, I mean, he's in that, he's at that point where he's like, he kind of knows deep down that there's something else going on, but he doesn't really want to admit it because he wants to enjoy going out and looking for them and trying to research what he wants to believe is just a physical creature that is, like another, mountain gorilla or whatever. And we talked, and we were talking about, like the connection possibly to the Bible, and the stuff that, demons, like demonic connection, like all this stuff. And he said, my God, he was like, imagine I'm out in the woods all by myself, and I'm actually around a creature that's actually like from like hell or
Yeah.
something. I was like, well, I mean, you got to understand, you got to keep an open mind about this stuff. Because it is a possibility. I'm not saying that's what it is exactly, because I don't know. I would sound like a fool to say that.
Well, I'll tell you right now, the people that we did investigate, and I spoke to them personally when we brought a team up there. Um, the dog was running next to this one gentleman's car. His wife was in
Yeah.
the passenger seat, and actually took a swipe at the car as he accelerated to get out of there. His wife called over to him and said, there is something running next to the car, and it's not a bear. 35 miles an hour at the time. She says it's running on 2 feet. He said, what? He looked over. When he saw it, a wolf-like creature that was taller than his car, he hit it, and he got up to 50 miles an hour real quick. At
Yeah.
that point, the thing claw marked the side of his car.
You're kidding me.
I am not joking. That is absolutely what they told me, and
God.
now they run a body shop on a dead end street. That's as much as I'll give out.
Yeah.
All they wanted me to give out, and they said that's it.
Oh my God.
They did take
Now,
a
is
picture.
this the one? This is the one that you were talking about in the Poconos, right?
Yes, above the
Okay, good. I'm so glad you touched on this, because I was going to say, before I let you go, I wanted you to tell me more about the details about this sighting, because we didn't get into that initially, and I wanted to hear about that. So I'm really glad you said that. You told
yeah.
us what happened there.
And
And then that was it. They haven't seen anything since then.
no,
Thank
they
God.
kept in touch with me on a weekly basis, and the answer is no. However, the two other individuals and the one other couple, they do not know each other, but it was in the general area. There's a T intersection that they all came to.
Mm-hmm.
it was around that general area. They were driving there for some reason, and that's what happened.
Yeah.
One of the individuals saw it going right across the roadway.
Yeah.
Identified a bipedal, dog-like face, black hair.
Yeah, I was going to ask you the color.
On two legs, walking across the roadway.
What color were the eyes? Did they say?
Only the people in the car that had the slashing, and they said amber.
Okay. I was curious because I've wondered why there are some that are red and some that are amber and others that are blue. I mean, there's just different colors to the eyes.
My encounter, it was amber. I did notice.
Okay. What about the tail? Was there a tail with the one they saw?
I did not notice the tail. I'll be honest with you. At the time, I had the pepper spray in one hand. I had a 10 millimeter Glock in the other. I stepped out of my car. I thought it was a human because it was near a bicycle that was chained up to a stop sign. That's the reason why I stopped.
Okay.
I lit it up. I had a 500,000 candle power of lights on my Jeep Wrangler, and I lit this thing up, and it ignored me. And I thought it was a human because there was a bicycle chained up to the stop sign where it was eating something. That's the reason why I was there. Otherwise, I probably would not have stopped.
Right.
I'm trying to help another human out, but it was a deer. I could see that. And it ignored me. It never turned its head towards me. And when it finally walked, it walked away. And it walked over branches and pieces of wood and through leaves. So I heard sound. And like I said before, I will reiterate, I also saw a orb in the sky.
Yeah.
So I don't.
Maybe they enjoy eating, or maybe they like the experience of the physical realm and they drop in here and I mean, I'm sure they're sent here to watch and do stuff like that, as well, but you have to wonder, I mean, although if they're in the physical realm they would have to eat, but you just kind of wonder if they enjoy it, like that experience of it. So it's interesting. But I want now, what about the people in the Poconos? Did the dogman have a tail there or no?
Nobody said anything about a tail.
Okay.
I can't really give information on that. Like I said, the one couple in the car got scratched, amber eyes. It crossed the road. I would say they had an encounter because it actually touched their vehicle. The other people, I would say it was more of a sighting because when they were coming down this certain road, they saw it crossing the road. And the other couple not only saw it crossing the road, but they said it stopped and looked back, at them, because the husband on the second couple, he stopped the car and it was out there.
Yeah. Okay.
And the wife is screaming like, "Let's go!"
Oh, I bet I would be too. I'd be like, "Let's go, let's go, let's go, let's get out of here."
He told me right in front of him, and he admitted to it. She told him, "What are you waiting for? What are you exactly going to do? Let's get out of here." It's like something that gigantic. You're like,
like, why would you even, like, we can talk about this at the house. We don't have to talk about it right here. Like, let's just go. We've seen it. Now let's go.
Exactly. But I heavily encourage people to go to the zoos and look at animals to see how big they really are. If nobody's ever seen a real rhinoceros, well, the Philadelphia Zoo's got a giant one. And you know what? They keep him in a pit because he's just too big to, to have bars just to keep him away. So he's generally running around in a pit. Just look at the size of this animal. Look at the size
I know.
of the hairs. Look at they used to have a tiger in a Philadelphia zoo. He was close to 900 pounds. He was a big boy. I'm going to tell you, he was huge. And if you want to experience infrasound, get close enough to where he thinks you're invading his space in a zoo. And when the roar they let out will give you a terrifying feeling because it goes right through your chest. That's part of infrasound.
Yeah.
Two types of infrasound. The one you can hear the one you can't.
Yeah.
The one you
Yeah.
feel and the one you can't. And if you want to experience it from a regular animal, there you go. Now,
I gotta ask. Go ahead. Go ahead.
all right. As far as a human being, I'd like to tell this story. Um, a few weeks back, I'm at the ShopRite supermarket shopping, and there was a man there, 400 pounds, 7'2". All right, he was in his early 40s. Uh, Obviously, he was just a big man. I stood next to him and I started chatting him up and talking to him, and I got it down to where I asked him how much he weighed, and he goes, "Well, I'm 7'2", and I weigh just a little over 400 pounds. I'm 5'10". I'm looking up at this man. He is scary big.
God, that's amazing.
You go out there and you find a Sasquatch, or it finds you. You find a dogman, or it finds you.
Yeah.
I love to say this to people. Tell me now, what is your game plan?
Yeah.
Have you
Me, I would start praying.
Have you thought about it? Maybe it's one of those Sasquatches that wants you as its mate.
Yep.
Well, if they're that big, 10 feet, and they want to mate with you, you're going to die.
Yep.
Because
I was going to ask you that too. I swear to God, you're reading my mind tonight. Every time I go to ask you something, you cover it like within a minute later.
I'm trying to get
It's weird. But yeah, so do you think women attract them?
I think they attract them more than males. They would.
Okay.
But I don't think they interact as much as people would like to, some of these so-called experts would like to tell you.
Well, what about like if you go on a hunt? Like, do you ever go out in the field with females? Do they go with you?
I'd go out with other researchers, but you got to remember, there's 7 of us there. We're in a diamond formation, and in the middle of that diamond are the people that are not armed.
Okay.
But I make
just wondered because I heard of cases where, stories of like there was one in particular, a girl was raped and left for she died from a Sasquatch.
She would have to die because something that big can't have a private part that's
right
in circumference.
Yeah, she was dead. She and her boyfriend were parking in a car, and they were both found dead, and the evidence pointed to a Sasquatch. So it was just something that I just wanted to know if you thought
it's not something I even want to talk about because I don't like that. I am just not.
Yeah.
It's not
That's
something
okay.
I'm fond of.
Yeah, I didn't know if it was safe for me to go out. I wanted to kind of know for my own personal, like if there's something I should do, or, if I was out and, with other women or, another partner, something that was a female.
Forest?
You what?
You mean searching in the forest area for?
Yeah, like you're in the forest and you're like, do you feel like, if you're a female, is it more of a, like, would that attract them more? Like, should you take like males with you? I mean, what, I don't know. I just was kind of curious about it, what you thought about it.
Hormones are gonna be out there. They're gonna smell you.
Yeah.
If you are still one, that I don't know how to say this without.
I know what you mean. Yeah. Yeah.
Time of the. You're going to attract them more. Yes.
I would never go out then. That's something I don't think any woman should ever do.
No. And listen, if you're going out there, please take my advice. Double bear sprays, and everybody knows how to take the safety off. Keep one in your hand at all times. Make sure you leave people looking around. If you're taking a break, don't all look at each other. Leave
you say this like this is something you've experienced.
Yes. You don't ever go out and leave yourself where everybody's just chatting.
Yeah.
Well, please, everybody's looking at each other and nobody's watching. You're 6.
Yeah.
Nobody's watching anything. That's not a good thing. What happens if it's not a cryptid and it's a mountain lion or a bear?
Yeah.
And you don't notice it till it's too late and it rips Mary Jane apart and she's only 3 feet away from you.
Oh, God.
What are you going to do? You want to go home.
Yeah.
You go out with, I would say a minimum of 3 people, but you're safer with 7.
Mm-hmm.
And if not, at least 5.
Yeah.
And make sure that you leave 3 guards, and you're in the
watching.
middle.
Yeah. Yeah.
taking a break and you're eating and you're taking your shoes off, and make sure you have decent boots because spiders can be out there to bite you. Snakes can be out there to bite you. We had sent a team up to Arkansas and they came out of the brush because they heard a lady screaming and she had just gotten bit by a large spider.
Oh my God.
Spider's not going to kill you, but it's going to get you awfully sick.
Well, if somebody's allergic, it could. There are, people forget about that people, there's allergies and stuff out there that can kill people.
You have to do first aid to them right away and get them to a hospital. Now, if it's a poisonous snake, you need to keep that person still, which they're not going to want to do, and you got to keep the limbs still that got bit, and you got to get them to the hospital. For anti-venom. Otherwise,
I'll go out in the field with you. I'm gonna come to New Jersey and go out with you. You seem like you're sensible enough there, Nick.
Well, I've been out there a long time. And
yeah.
You know what to look for, and it's just second nature. And
I want to look around here in our woods, and see what's going on. If there's any kind of signs up here, because we have such a wooded area, and I've heard Pennsylvania is pretty active, and I just thought I would kind of putter around a little bit and see. But
remember, while you're looking down on the ground, you should have other people looking around in protection. Of the team. So 3 people would be great. You're looking down. The other 2 people are looking left, right, up, and behind you. Somebody has to be covering your 6 because bears are notorious for coming up behind people. They're very smart. So I don't want people to think that bears are dumb. They are smart. They can open up car doors. They can get into your house if they slam. Your front door is not proof against a bear.
I know.
You have to proof that door against a bear, otherwise it will come in.
That's amazing.
It's just not a nice thing to have happen when a bear comes into your house. And if you're not home, oh my God, he is just going to go to your house. He's going to be looking for food.
And I know they do.
Maybe go potty in your house and stuff like that too, and that's not fun. So
they do get a bad rap, though. I think a lot of the activity with the Bigfoot and the Dogmen, the bear seems to get the rap for all of it. So we don't really even know what the statistics really are.
Yeah. The government wants to blame it on the bears.
It's always the bears. It's always the bears. So I love bears. I think they're pretty cool. When I was a kid, we used to go up to a club. It was like a lodge, and we would see the bears come in at night, and they would eat, and then they'd come in after the deer did. It was just really cool watching them.
Yeah.
So, well, I should let you go. I know that we've been on here for a while, and I'm sure you need to get some rest.
Okay. We'll do this again, though. And you pick the subject, and we'll stick to it.
Yes, definitely. I'm going to bug you because I've got so many questions yet for you. We just don't have enough time to do all this, but I'm just it was really cool talking to you, and you're just one of those people that are just really fun to talk to.
Oh, same here. You're a really smooth host.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I'll send you, I'll be asking you some stuff. Trust me. But I will.
Want to post how they can get to this on my site, or send it to me and I'll
I can put it in my link. Can you send me a link to it, or a post, or whatever you'd want me to put? I can put it in my link.
Well, send it, North American Dogman Project, Region 3, or my Quad Coalition of Sciences.
Okay.
Put it there, or you could send it on to me. You can put it there yourself as a post, or you can also send it to me and do this also. My Facebook message.
Okay, that sounds cool. Yeah, we'll figure it out. I'll message you and we'll go from there. I'll do it probably tomorrow because I'm probably going to work on this for a little bit, and then just kind of watch some more Dogmen stuff tonight, of course, and then I'll probably message you a couple times tomorrow and see where you want to
just do this stuff. And I want you to stay safe while you're out there, and please don't.
I will. I promise. I will. I just I'll ask you if I have any more questions or anything, but I definitely want to have you on again.
So much more to cover when people go out there, like buying a GPS unit in case you get lost and you need to be found, or maybe we'll through a portal and maybe we can find you. You never know. Like what to take, kits and the real kind, not the just boo-boo kits, with tourniquets, like that. I mean, there's a lot to go into that. If you want to cover sometime, definitely call
I
in.
would love to. Yes. That is a question I did have was the equipment, like certain types of it and stuff I'd like to know. Because a lot of people talk about equipment, but they never tell you really what kind to get or, because they're afraid to mention brand names and stuff. And I'm like, we kind of need to know this stuff, like what's junk and what isn't.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, that would be cool. Okay. Sounds like a plan.
All righty.
All right, Nick. You have a
Please
good night.
out there. Take care.
I will. You too. Take care. Bye
Bye.
bye. And that's the show for tonight, everyone. I hope you all enjoyed it. I have some more great guests lined up for the next episodes coming along, and some new encounter stories to tell you. Everyone stay safe out there and be vigilant, please. Love to you all. Say your prayers. God bless you all. And I will be back talking to you soon. Take care.